Whataboutism. There he goes again. Cleveland Trump and the whataboutism. Fans, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast tonight. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. Happy Juneteenth, Mr. Cleveland. Hopefully you celebrated in good fashion out there. So Tacoma had a big thing going on out there today. Hope you guys celebrated in good fashion. Happy Juneteenth to the world. Thank you guys again for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 297 of this iteration of the Voice of the Fans podcast. It is June 19th, 2024, Cleveland. So let's get the show on the road, man. Each and every week we get the show started with a little montage, man. So here you guys go.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is Cameron.
Cam Buford. Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
All we want to see every year are the best two mothers getting in the ring and getting on.
Best team to fight for this. Somehow we got away from that because guys are trying to protect their record.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works for the promoter.
Okay.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment. I'm standing there to try to make a change. Give back to the youth, give back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
So you are lifting weights currently?
It's not like that.
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
Can I finish right now? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about this activity?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
You were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
The real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, it's a different voice. So I think it's a big part of my game. And every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy for the
Cam, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
You look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
You played against Michael Jordan, and you said LeBron is the best player in the history of the game? Did you guys hear that?
Oh, this guy.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sport.
Thank you for making our voice your choice.
And really appreciate you listening to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Check it out every single week.
Yo, shout out to my man Aaron Judge. Man, why do pitchers pitching at him, trying to knock him out the game? Shout out to you, Judge. Get well soon, there, fella. Get well soon. And Bill Laimbeer, I still don't know what the hell Bill Laimbeer was talking about.
He knows what he's talking about, Cam. He played against Michael Jordan head up, face to face.
There might be some animosity there. Bill Laimbeer, come on, get out of here. What up, Barry?
What up, Barry?
Happy Juneteenth to you guys. My goodness. Once again, June 19th, 2024, week 297 of this version of the Voice of the Fans podcast. We're going to talk to the NBA. We're going to wrap up the NBA season, talk about the NFL offseason. We're going to look back tonight, Cleveland. I thought it'd be a good idea that we look back at the draft 3 years ago. I think 3 years is a good mark to kind of look back. We're going to have to get in the regular habit of this. Look at the NFL draft and see what the winners and the losers from the NFL draft a few years ago. So players have a few years to kind of give us a glimpse of what they'll be. and we're gonna look back at the NFL draft and see the winners and the losers from that draft. At least the first round, anyway. Not going through the whole NFL draft. Just go at least the first round. See, identify some winners and losers. We got some boxing news. We're gonna talk about some boxing. Cleavon claims he's a Tank Davis fan. Did you watch the Tank Davis fight, Cleavon?
Have not watched the fight in its entirety, only the knockout to this point.
So you just watch a YouTuber. You like these millennials just watching highlights on YouTube, huh? That's
well, I mean, over Frank Martin.
Down to.
I mean, over Frank Martin, yeah. That's about as much as I could get into at this point.
We got Cleveland third week in a row, man. We got to talk about somebody passing. We got Bill Walton was a couple weeks ago. Then it was Jerry West. Now, man,
say hey, kid, Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, man, like wow. It's just, I mean, we're getting to that age, man. We're getting old, number one, and then it's just, I don't know, is it season? And he didn't even get a chance to get down there to Rickwood Field and kind of see the celebration they had set up for him. I mean,
hey, you know, it's funny the way social media reads, and man, I hated it, man, because when they said he wouldn't be attending, it made it seem like it wasn't like an important event to him. Like if you don't read it right, it's like, oh, Willie Mays ain't going to the thing. And it's like, well, no, he's just real sick, man. Like he can't make it to the thing. It's like, but they don't say that. They just kind of say he's not going. And so it makes it seem like he's like protesting or doesn't want to go. It's like, no, he's just real frail. Like he can't go.
Yeah.
You just say that, you know? But that's my beef with social media. But you know, I digress.
Yeah, we can talk about a whole lot more. But I try to go down to Rickwood Field. First of all, I was way too late try to get my credential request in. They made it. Major League Baseball doesn't make anything easy. Number one. Number two, I was way too late to try to get this done. But I try to sneak through and see if I can get a couple of pictures and maybe interview some players or media that was out there. And bro, you cannot get close to Rickwood Field. You cannot get close. It's like just if Rainier and Henderson is where Rick Field is, you cannot get enter off of Rainier. You have to come off of Martin Luther King Way down Henderson, but you can only get you can't get that close to Rainier from coming off of Martin Luther King Way. In the opposite side, on the beach side, on the water side, was that Lake Washington Boulevard, I think it is.
Yeah.
You can't even enter that way. That's all blocked off. You can't even enter that way. I mean, my goodness, they got that sealed off, and it's not in the best neighborhood. Like I said, all of Birmingham isn't that great, but it's not in the best neighborhood. So yes, they need full security. They have buses. You can't park near there. You don't really want to park near there. You definitely don't want to park and walk around there. But they got buses shuttling people to and fro. Like, yo, it's beefed up security in. I can't even. It's not even downtown. It's Birmingham. It's. I'll tell you that. There's a Kentucky Fried Chicken on the corner right there. So what that tell you about? Kentucky Fried Chickens is only in certain areas, right? Kentucky and churches. Let me add that.
Okay, I was just waiting for you to say churches. But
Yeah,
I was waiting for you.
Kentucky and churches. Let me say that. So that kind of give you an idea of what you are dealing with, Rick.
If you have a church's chicken, that means something. That's something.
You know, those of you, if you know, you know. I'll put it like that. If you know about the churches and where they most often are located, if you know, you know. Nonetheless, we're gonna talk about Willie Mays, and you're the more of the baseball fan, so you can tell me more about what you can clarify some of these thoughts that I have about him, and tell us more about the Say Hey Kid and his emergence into Major League Baseball so many years ago. But Cleveland, with it being June 19th, week 297 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Cleveland, when you think of the number 19, who wore that jersey number best, or who comes to your mind first?
Lately since Adam Silver has kind of, inked the deal with the the new television contract and talking about expansion, Lenny Wilkins comes to mind. Rocking that 19 as a coach and as a player, and being in the Hall of Fame. It kind of comes to mind first. Who wore it the best? Probably Johnny Unitas.
Johnny U, huh?
Johnny U.
The guy that comes to my mind first, there's a couple of people actually coming to my mind first when I think of the number 19. It's such an odd number. Johnny Unitas, he's a quarterback, but it's not Johnny Unitas. And that's that awkward moving quarterback from University of Miami, Bernie Kosar. And what he did with those Cleveland Browns. I mean, his little stint with the Browns were pretty impressive. But just boy, was there a more awkward moving quarterback than Bernie Kosar? There's not many. He has to be on the top of the list.
There's not, and when you look through the annals of the NFL, like if you talk about the top 5 most underrated teams, man, that Cleveland Browns team has to be on the top 5 most underrated teams ever.
Underrated teams?
Yeah.
Or just the underrated teams that didn't win the championship, didn't win the Super Bowl.
Well, that's why they're underrated, right? Because they didn't come to fruition and get it done. But man,
I mean that's a good conversation. Let me give it some time. I think I would probably come up with.
I mean, the Buffalo Bills are obviously number 1, going to 4 straight Super Bowls and never winning one.
85 Dolphins. So there you go. There's 5 teams right there. 85 Dolphins.
But battling Elway back-to-back years, man, to the last.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Don't get me wrong. I totally agree with you. They're certainly in the top 5 to not win a championship, without a doubt.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt. But I guess they're probably one of the same teams in that same category. Scott Mitchell, like your guy, who came up there for the $20 million and then got his job took by Russell Wilson. Scott Mitchell played.
Flynn.
Flynn had one good year. At least Scott. At least.
Boots.
Boots. At least Scott Mitchell played half a season and got paid. Flynn played one game and got paid. One game with all the in garbage time and got paid. But that's what comes to my mind when I think of the number 19. When you think of the number 97, man, really only one guy. Really, I kind of expected you to say Tony Gwynn. By the way, when you think of 19,
yeah, I missed that one.
But there's only one guy when I think of the number 19. Well, there's 2 guys. But Rufus Porter, talking about underrated. That was an underrated dude right there. Big old dude, man. And when you think of guys,
and you know what, Cam, not to get all kind of off subject, but I don't think this has ever been done before, man. Like special teams coach Rusty Tillman, just had like a kickoff team, ran down Fred Young and became an all-pro linebacker. Had a kickoff team, ran down Rufus Porter, became like a Pro Bowl defensive line. Like, it's crazy. Like, really? Like, he was able to take all of that energy and make them really effective in what it is that they could do.
Some of that's opportunity. Some of that,
and these are, and when you're talking about kickoff specialists, that's like way down the draft. That's like 6th, 7th, 8th round type players typically.
Well, the kickoff is often the kickoff and kick return teams are often comprised of those guys who that's how they're going to make the team, is being special. I mean, if you think about it, that's how Terrell Davis made the Denver Broncos by going down there. And you remember the one tackle that gets highlighted when you talk about it. But it's those guys, late round draft picks. Austin Eckler, that's how he made the team. Just late round draft picks. You're not going to put your starting running back out there, right? And you're going to need some guys with some agility. You're going to need some cornerbacks. Your fifth or sixth string cornerback out there, because he has some agility. He can defend. He can tackle. He's going to have to play. That's how he's going to make the team. So that comes with the territory, that those late round draft picks are going to have to do that if they want to play the position, just because you're not going to put your starters in that role, in those roles, right? So Cleveland, it's official now. The Boston Celtics went ahead and beat the Dallas Mavericks 4-1 in the NBA Finals championship. My first question, we're going to get into the historical ramifications of them winning the championship. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get into the stats. I want to ask you about the Mavericks and where they stand, and Luka, and can Luka bring this team back, and what Kyrie has to do. But I need to know from Cleveland, since you wrote this article a few weeks ago, the criteria, spelling out the criteria for winning the NBA championship. You did pick the Boston Celtics in 7. Now, who moves around in this categories now? You had, if I remember, you had Luka. Luka, what was Luka? Just a usual suspect? Where does Luka move up into the legend category, considering not what he did during the finals, but because he got his team to the finals? Where's PJ Washington? I want to know where Derek Lively is. Do they move? Do they elevate? This is Lively being a rookie. What's his status in on your criteria rankings, if you will? All this is BS, man. But
thanks, Cam, for asking. And so, just to clarify,
specify what the name of the article and where the fans can find us at.
What it takes to win an NBA championship. Fans, you can find it on voiceofthefans.org. It is very comprehensive with regards to how you do this. Back to your original question, PJ Washington and Lively, can't call them the usual suspects just yet because they haven't been, repeated multiple times. So we'll call them first timers. Great season. Got really deep into the playoffs. Luka Doncic, basketball legend, got his team to the NBA Finals and threw some blows. Can hit a free throw to save his life.
Man, my goodness,
got to work on that. I mean,
my goodness gracious, has there been a better? Okay, Shaq was a better player and missed free throws, but that was Shaq's whole career.
And fans, it takes me back. Fans, just real quick, Cam. It takes me back to another article that I wrote about the 7 deadliest weapons. And Cam threw me under the bus for saying the Rick Barry underhand free throw was not deadly. If Luka Doncic would have went 90% from the free throw line,
in comparison to what other articles the other moves that were in the article,
yeah, I mean,
we had the sky hook. You had the sky hook in the article. You had the
sky
hook
in the article. I had the Tim Hardaway UTEP 2-step. I had a whole lot of,
and then you try to slip the underhand free throw in there. Come on, get out of here.
The highest free throw percentage in the history of basketball, if you do it this way. There's never been a higher free throw percentage ever. Not Larry Bird, not Steph Curry. I mean, no, none of those guys. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, no.
I mean, I try to mention it. I don't know if you hear the show a couple weeks ago. And Luka had a week off before the series started. Boots, he had a whole week off. Like if they were playing like against the second and third round where it was every other night. I mean,
he had 3 days in between games, but at the same time, it really comes down to he was not able to hit free throws. Straight up.
Has there been obviously Shaq again had a worse free throw percentage, but Shaq was a big man. That was his career. He just in his career he was never able to shoot free throws properly. And Shaq didn't shoot jumpers. Shaq wasn't shooting 3-pointers. For a 3-point shooter, a jump shooter, a guard I was so disappointed in Luka missing free throws. Just the number of free throws. I mean, to go 8 out of 10 is still pretty damn good. But this dude was in the 50 and 60% tile. Like Luka, come on. But nonetheless, I mean, he kind of dragged him. He drug him there to the finals. So nonetheless, so Kyrie Irving, where did Kyrie Irving? He was already a basketball god by his association. Does the association drop off or?
No, he's still a basketball god by association. He won a championship playing with the King.
And Tatum was a association. Well, excuse me, Holiday was basketball god by association. Does his association drop off?
No, he still is a basketball god by association for sure.
By association, he was a factor in both NBA finals.
He was a factor both times.
So the drop off, you have to drop off the association.
You know what? We can run that up to Mount Olympus and kind of kick that one around and maybe get the association taken off and maybe he's just a basketball god. But we got to talk about it for a minute.
Tatum and Brown, you can't wait to coordinate them. You can't wait to give them their chain, right? What about Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis?
They are basketball guys by association. They were on a championship team.
Derek White, he gives up a tooth. He gives up a tooth for his NBA finals. Did he lead the team in blocks during the finals? Did he lead the finals in blocks? That's a stat I might have to look up. Did he lead the blocks in or the finals in block shots?
Cam, you would have to look that up because I have absolutely
look that one up. I'm gonna have to look that one up. Did he? I think Derek White led the finals in block shots, either team, and so he deserved to be a basketball god on that alone, right? From the guard position.
No.
Fans, check out that article. You can see all this BS that Cleveland made up. Now let's talk about the Boston Celtics 16-3 record to win their 18th championship. That 18th championship is more than anybody else in the NBA in the history of the NBA, if you knew that or not.
Well, there's been a little bit of a discrepancy with regards to that.
No discrepancy. There's no discrepancy. NBA Finals, they have 18. Nobody else has 18.
Actually a tie with the Los Angeles Lakers. There's one other championship that wasn't included. There should have been included. So
there's no tie. 18 is their number. They will be hanging 8 when the season starts next year. They have 18 banners. No other team in the NBA in the history of the NBA has more banners than they do.
Well, like I said, there is a season right before all this happened and transpired that the Lakers won that should have been included that wasn't included. So it's up to you.
What, in Minnesota? Oh, you count those Minnesota banners. Somehow you guys are counting those Minnesota banners that are hanging in Los Angeles.
I mean, just because a franchise moves doesn't mean you don't count the championships, right? Apparently they do. I mean, what they did at their grandma's house, they bring those trophies over. Count. I mean, why are they called the Lakers? Because they played in Minneapolis and started it out. Mike and them, yeah, you count them.
So Mike and them is among the greatest Lakers, is what you're trying to claim. You're claiming George Mikan.
He's in there.
And he didn't play one game in the city of Los Angeles.
He's a Laker.
Oh, You see, Boots. You see what we're dealing with. Nonetheless, the Boston Celtics had 18. So congratulations to the Boston Celtics for having more championships banners than anybody in the history of the NBA.
Man, fans, you see how Cam just couldn't wait to say that? Oh my God.
I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just giving out facts right now. I'm giving out facts.
Get your megaphone out. You got your megaphone next to you, so you can just say it like really, really loud, out loud.
I mean, you want me to repeat it? I'm just giving out facts.
No, I don't want you to repeat it. I mean, I just see the glee in your eyes when you get a chance to say it.
Just stating the facts. Was Brown wins the NBA Finals or the NBA MVP, the Finals MVP? Was that the right pick?
Absolutely.
Even though Tatum was one of 5 players to hit 30 and 10 in a series clinching win. I mean, there's only one of 5.
Yeah, man. I heard all the stats, man. Yeah, it's not the time to stat me to death, man. I heard he had 1 point, more rebounds, more assists, and didn't get it. Only player to ever do it. Yeah, he didn't ball out, man. Jalen balled out.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. The Dallas Mavericks, the Boston Celtics held the Mavericks to under 100 points in 4 to 5 games. A lot of talk going into the playoffs or coming out of the Eastern Conference Finals was that the Celtics hadn't really played anybody. They played the Mavericks, who obviously came from the Western Conference, had the propensity to put up a lot of points, and they only scored over 100 points once in that blowout. That they blew them out by 40 plus points. So some people can wipe that away. Are you surprised that they held the Mavericks to under 100 points in 4 to 5 games? Was that a surprise to you?
Absolutely. I mean, with a backcourt like Luka and Kyrie, you expect like 100 points, kind of to be the bare minimum. You would assume that the two of them are going to go for at least 60, and the rest of the team give me 40. But that didn't happen, and obviously Jason Kidd is coming under a lot of duress for that, and which is why he's kind of having side conversations with Jeannie about can you
oh boy.
Can you get me out of this so I can come play with Coach LeBron and AD?
Jeannie doing some poaching, huh? We're gonna get to that coach. We're gonna get to that coaching carousel that's out there. Jeannie doing some poaching. Listen, look at you guys. You guys talk smack about the Mavericks and how they probably shouldn't even been there, and it's all up to Luka. And now all of a sudden, you guys are trying to go down there and poach their head coach. You guys are something else, boy. I tell you what, you guys are something else. Are they the Eastern Conference favorite for next season? Are they the favorite in the Eastern Conference, or is it too early to have this conversation?
It's not too early to have this conversation, to be perfectly honest with you, and no, they're not the favorites.
Who's your favorite? Are you going New York Knicks? If you say no, you're not going Toronto.
No, I'm not going with the Villanova Wildcats 2.0. I'm actually going with the Milwaukee Bucks as the favorites.
No.
And then
Joel the first round
and then Joel Embiid and the 76ers as the number 2.
Yeah, they may be stuck with
Bruce Willis sticking with JJ if it absolutely necessary.
They may not have a choice, Boots. Does Marcus Smart deserve a seat on the bus during the parade?
Nope, he was not a part of this team whatsoever.
What do you mean?
He was traded before the season started, and he was not a member of the Boston Celtics in any way, shape, form, or fashion for any part of this season. I mean, I know how the way you feel about Marcus.
He was there
everybody knows about Marcus, man, and he sure was.
He was there right up until the week started. They went through training camp.
He was an integral part of all of that last year. And some of the years before that, but not this year. No.
I didn't say he deserved a ring. I didn't say he deserved a ring.
No,
does he deserve at least a seat on the bus? Like, I don't know if I would take that seat. I don't know if I would.
He deserves nothing. It's a professional.
Cleveland has no faith in the Pacers. No, zero faith in the Pacers. We're gonna get to them, but
So sorry.
he don't
Zero.
have no faith in the Pacers.
Yeah.
He has less faith in the Pacers than he does in the
I
Sacramento.
saw that locked up Siakam for a little bit. That's cool. But yeah.
That's a good point. They deserves a seat, the seat on a championship bus.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. So somebody, I guess Milwaukee, the Bucks is the only people that might be sicker than Marcus Smart this week after that final buzzer. The Milwaukee Bucks watching Drew win another championship, not in their jersey. They might be the only team or the only people sicker than Marcus Smart this week.
Yeah, and Udoka as well. So I mean, they're both, I don't know if you heard they down in H-Town, kind of, drying their sorrows.
Well, I don't know about it. I think Udoka. I don't know if he's disappointed with what was going on. I don't know. I mean, he kind of had his fun. You got to look back and you had some memories, right? You got to kind of look back and say
it's the weirdest. I mean, is this not the weirdest thing ever, Cam? Have you ever heard anything about how that transpired? It's just like you can't coach, and it's $1 million.
Well, what do you mean? What
That's all
happened?
we ever heard.
That it got him run out of town? What happened and what he was doing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, there was never like a conclusion to it.
Well, there was.
No,
with the owner's wife.
No,
with the owner's wife.
No, there wasn't. You never heard who the person was. You never heard what he supposedly did. You never heard any of that. You just heard he was doing something improper, and it's going to cost you $1 million. And you can't coach for a year.
Well, he was the owner or the GM. I think it was the owner. He was sleeping with the owner's wife.
Oh, you heard? Really? You heard that?
Yeah, and that was he was hitting on her. She told him to stop. They had their little affair, and she said, "Okay, stop. This is over. This is not a continuous thing. We had fun, a nice one night rouser or something like that." But he continued to press the issue, and that's when it became the problem. Once she said stop, and he continued to press the issue. So they had their fun. Mm-hmm. It was all consensual initially. She said now stop, and he continued to press the issue. And yeah. So
okay, Cam, you know what? That is a testament to Voice of the Fans. That is a testament to your incredible behind the scenes research and knowledge. That's never been made public ever. Not one time.
It's
no one ever said the coach was getting it on with the owner's wife. No one, that was never a headline. They never Lisa Salters never came to nobody's house hey, what happened here? None of that.
Well, there you go. You heard it here, fans.
I know.
And so that's why I say Ime Udoka might not.
Yeah, you get that Chris Haynes, on
he might not be that. He might not be that disappointed of what was going on in the whole breakdown.
Yeah, you're always disappointed when you don't win a championship because championships come by.
I mean, but he had something to do with how he lost his job. It wasn't like. He wasn't traded like Marcus Smart was.
So from that perspective, yes, he had more to do with why he lost his job. Adverse Marcus Smart just being traded and feeling undervalued after winning Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that was came his heart and soul, dyed his hair several different colors. To support those guys. So.
And did it continuously. The Williams brothers.
It's like he couldn't stay healthy. And then Grant, ooh.
Grant was there. Grant was in the building though. You saw it was still on his mind. Brogdon. I mean, Brogdon's one of those guys. I I guess I was wrong about Brogdon. I guess that was something I had to say because I thought Brogdon was going to be a factor in Boston. I thought the Clippers should have picked up Brogdon. I thought he was going to be a bigger factor in Milwaukee. So I mean, I have to say I was wrong about Brogdon. The Williams, I guess my man up in Portland, he's more upset than but he can't stay healthy. But Grant clearly was in the building, so he's not feeling any kind of way. And that's probably, to be honest with you, him being, like I said, I was halfway joking. I say Marcus Smart deserves a seat on the bus, but Williams showing up at the stadium, going into the locker room after they win the championship. I mean, that tells you kind of. I don't know if I was Marcus Smart and they even called me and offered me a seat on the bus. I don't know that I would take it. Williams, I think, would be there with his shirt off, celebrating like he won. That's his level of focus. And that's his level of focus. Where again, I don't think Marcus Smart is going to show up in Boston until they have a game that night.
Yes, he has more pride. That's because he has more pride than Grant.
Right. Like I say, Williams might show up in Boston with his shirt off, celebrating like he won the championship. Just a different kind of.
Yeah, he's still flashing the expired badge, trying to get in.
Yeah, still he does a different kind of focus. Can the Dallas Mavericks win the Western Conference Finals next season?
No.
Are they a favorite?
No. They had their chance. They played a decent opponent coming out of the Eastern Conference. Probably not the best team, although I keep hearing this. Wow, the Celtics are historically good. I've not seen any of that, but okay. But no.
I mean, okay, before you shit on the Celtics like that, the Celtics literally have obviously Brown and Tatum, who are 26 and 25. Like they're after winning the championship, their confidence should elevate. So they should come back. I would anticipate they come back better, obviously more seasoned from this experience. Now they have the
you really feel seasoned from this experience, or that they want
championship. What do you mean? That championship brings you a certain amount of confidence. You have to say you put them in your basketball god category after just from winning a championship. Yes, you have to. If nothing else, you have more confidence in what you're doing. Brown unquestionably is more seasoned. Brown is now okay. So the two of them still have something to prove. Brown was not Jaylen Brown was not an all NBA. He was not an all NBA player 1, 2, or 3. So based on that, the people that vote still didn't have him top 15 player in the league, right? So he still has something to prove. Like, you guys got that wrong. Number one, that's the start. Jason Tatum didn't win the NBA Finals MVP. He thinks he was talking about last season. He should be the best, considered the best player in the league. Now he won. I think we went down our NBA first team, NBA all NBA first team. I don't think I had him in the first team, all NBA in the first team. And he wants to prove that I think he still has something to prove to be considered the best player in the game. I don't consider him the best player in the game. Him not winning the NBA Finals or the Larry Bird, the conference finals MVP, still has, a little chip on the shoulders. Now they won the championship. That I believe that comes with, that gives you a little boost you up. Now you can walk around with your chest high a little bit. You don't have that pressure of not having to do it. So yes, they should come back better next season.
Wow, so you feel that way about Jason Tatum? Well, you know how I feel about Jason Tatum?
How's that?
is that he got that pressure off him, so people stop talking about him like loudly. But like you said, he didn't win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He didn't win the Finals MVP. And now he is more than happy to defer and take the back role, even though he's the best player, because that pressure's not on him anymore. And he does not have a Mamba mentality. You can see it.
Well, I agree with that. Don't get me. I told you months ago, Cleveland, I don't want to hear another player and him specifically mention the Mamba mentality. I told you that much
but
before.
He's one of the prodigies, right? Him,
Right.
Devin Booker, a few others.
Shame on you, Cleveland, for try to put him in that category.
You know, instill those type of
shame on
qualities.
You, shame on you. Shame on you for trying.
I'm not.
Shame on you for trying to even bring that up when we're talking about Jason Tatum. You're bringing up Mamba mentality. Shame on you for that.
So you heard nothing that I just said then.
Well, I heard what you said. I also heard you try to bring him. You try to put him in that category. He does not have it.
No,
he does not have the Mamba mentality.
I said he's willing to take the back seat to Jalen because he doesn't have the Mamba mentality. That's what I said. You heard none of that.
I heard that.
So he will always be okay with being the second best player on the team, even though he's the most talented player on the team.
I see. So I think I don't necessarily agree with.
You don't agree that he's the most talented player on that team?
No, I don't agree that. I'm not agreeing with you that he does not. I too don't believe he has a Mamba mentality.
Okay.
But I do believe that he still wants to prove that he's the better player on the team.
No.
I do believe that.
I think he's okay now that he doesn't have the pressure of winning the championship. He's okay with being the second best player and not having to have the pressure of taking this team and putting it on his back and getting to the finals.
That I don't agree with. I expect him to come back better.
Truth.
I expect him to come back better.
He would have came out hardcore this finals, and he didn't.
Again, I'm not defending him in the sense that he does have the Mamba mentality. I do believe
he's okay with being second.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I think so. Another thing, here's another example why I don't believe in that, and why I don't agree with that. In the fourth quarter of that game, of the game on Monday night, when they were up by 20, right? That wasn't a close game. The game was not in the balance at all. Yet he's going between his legs. He's trying to dribble behind his back, trying to create shots. He's taking 3-pointers. Like he was going for the MVP. He was going for that MVP late in the game. I think he might have had 15 fourth quarter points because he wanted to prove that he tried to sneak that MVP from Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown didn't have to do the extra because he earned it throughout the series. But Jason Tatum was trying to steal that MVP. I think that same thing is gonna happen. Hopefully I'm not a Jason Tatum fan, but hopefully a couple things will happen for him this offseason. Just as a basketball player standpoint. He's gonna be in the on Team USA. So now he goes to Team USA. He's gonna learn. I think he's gonna be able to play to settle down a little bit. And maybe he's not taking these forced 3-point shots. Maybe he's not forcing shots anymore, and he's learning how to play and allow the game to come to him. Maybe, and then that'll be the evolution for him next season.
Allowing the game to come to him. Are we talking about a superstar? Are we talking about a basketball guy? You don't allow the game to come to you, man. You take the game over. Well, and he again, I will say,
I think that's been he's been trying to prove that
is no longer on his shoulder, and he's perfectly fine with being second fiddle.
Yeah,
he doesn't want the pressure. He doesn't want the responsibility where he would have taken it on this series, and he did it.
You're saying like take it on, like it's so easy. It's such an easy thing
Not
to
easy.
do.
Only basketball gods do that kind of thing.
Right.
Point.
So are you saying he's not a basketball god now? Are you saying he's not a basketball?
Basketball god by association.
Well, who's the basketball god on the team then?
Jaylen Brown.
I didn't even ask you about Jason Tatum.
It's Jaylen Brown.
Wow. So Jason Tatum, they've been playing. This is his second finals in 6 seasons in the NBA. Jason Tatum has more points in the NBA in the playoffs than Kobe and LeBron, and he's not a basketball god with the NBA championship.
Sorry, at this same point in their career, is that what you're saying? Because he hasn't played in the finals enough times to have more points.
Yeah, I think it's this point in his career.
Okay, well that's cool. But you see what those other two went on to do, right? And they were both the alpha on that team.
Wow, I found somebody who doesn't like Jaylen Brown less more than I do. Wow, that's pretty cool, Cleveland. I'm surprised by this.
What?
I'm surprised by this.
You're surprised by what?
Your stance, your hard stance on Jaylen Brown, and the fact that I found somebody who
no, Jason Tatum is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jason Tatum.
Jason, that's what I meant. I said Jaylen Brown. I meant Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Yeah. That your hard stance on Jason Tatum. I'm surprised by this.
Yeah, no, we're done here. Yeah, no, we're done here.
Woo! I do, but back to what I was saying, I expect both of those guys to come back better and stronger. I think Jaylen Brown in this playoffs he unlocked the barrel, and without question, obviously, he being able to play two ways, being able to go left now was a big issue on him. Can he stop creating turnovers, stop making turnovers in crunch time? He's not doing that. He proved he can hit big shots throughout the playoffs. He proved that he's a man. If Luka stays in, you heard the quote the other night, if Luka stays in, I'm staying in. Like, that's my guy. Like, that's championship level prowess that we want on the leader of your team. Jaylen Brown, great dude, man. He's a great dude. I regret we had a wonderful post-game conversation when he was in Atlanta. We talked a lot, but I needed his contact information. I just was kind of nervous to ask you guys for the contact information. But next time I see him, I certainly will, because he's that kind of cool. So shout out to Jaylen Brown. Congratulations. I'm blown away on your stance on Jason Tatum, though. I'm kind of blown away on that, actually.
Why?
You got me stuck. Because he was a number 2 guy. I'll grant you he was the number 2 guy, but they won the NBA Finals. They were there 2 times in 4 years. They were just there 2 years ago. This is an evolution. Their game has elevated. And so I'm surprised with your categories, and you say he's a basketball god by association. He was clearly a factor in them getting there and winning the championship, but wow. Cleveland gave him by association. I didn't even, I glanced over that because I just assumed what the ranking he would get. Nonetheless, who takes a worse hit, or does either one of these guys take a bad hit from their finals performance, considering they were the 5th seed in the Western Conference? They were the 5th seed. They did kind of battle their way. They beat the 4 seed, they beat the 3 seed, and Minnesota was the 2 seed. Jason Kidd, I guess you're not going to say Jason Kidd, considering you already want him in LA. You guys are already making calling the bat phone to see if he wants to come to LA still. Luka or Kyrie, who takes the worst hit?
Cal, I'm gonna say it's equal. I won't put more on one or the other. Luka couldn't hit free throws and kept chirping at the refs and couldn't really get his head like wrapped around what was going on here. Like it's the NBA Finals, and Kyrie not willing to lay in the the bed that he made for himself and trying to cross bridges that he's already burned. So he wasn't able to do either one of those two things. The Boston crowd, and you could tell that it got like he knew, like, yeah, I didn't do you guys right. And I was like, my other self back then, I'm so much more mature and evolved now that, I kind of, realized the error of my ways, and all the boos just kept getting to him, and he could not get off in Boston at all. So he wasn't able to rise to the occasion and block it out.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, I was too. I was waiting to see Uncle Drew. Never happened.
Right.
And then Luka was just like, okay, you're bricking all the time. No one ever said you were a great defensive player, so I'm not going to get on you about that. But I mean, found out of an NBA Finals game. I mean, what is that, man?
Yeah, and kind of the way you found out too.
Yeah, like
trying
the last 10 minutes, like just
yeah,
swiping it, like Sean Kemp style, like it was ridiculous.
I think that speaks to him needing some growth in his game. The free throws are unexplainable. The free throws are like that. That should be embarrassing for you, Luka. That should be embarrassing. Kyrie not. I expected so much more from Kyrie. Like I expected you to get your 30 a game. Like I understand Drew and Derek White. I mean, that speaks more to Drew and Derek White. I guess that we have to elevate what they were actually doing.
Man, because Kyrie is supposed to be unguardable.
Supposed to be, and that's what we thought.
Finals, you should be really unguardable.
That's what we thought until he played Drew and Derek White. Like, and that's why I say that Boston will be there, because what I was getting at before we start talking about the growth of Tatum and Brown is that they have these two guys like Drew Holiday, a defensive stopper, kind of a glue guy who you don't like to give credit to those guys who kind of can do everything and nothing stands out, but that's what he is. He scores if you want him to. He got over 20 points in the game. He had 10, 11 assists.
I hear what you're saying, right? But when this whole thing recalibrates itself, Drew and Derek won't be as much of a factor, because where the points and the dominance are coming from will be bigger players. It won't be Kyrie and Luka. It will be Joel. It will be Giannis. It will be bigger players.
Well, I mean that's those are your two favorites going into the Eastern Conference next year.
Yeah.
But Joel, somebody's gonna have to get Joel the ball. Somebody's gonna have to get him the ball. And when you're able to apply pressure to that point guard, that get him the ball in his rights in the spots that he want him isn't always easy. The same with Giannis. Somebody's gonna have to get him the ball.
But the person
when you don't get the ball in the right spots,
game from it's not the same player.
I'm sorry.
What you're trying to do is completely different. What you're saying is trying to get the point guard from getting the ball to the post man, adverse, trying to stop the other point guard from scoring 25 points a game.
I mean, you can't ignore that part of the game. So now you're gonna say, okay, come get the ball at the 3-point line.
But here's this other part.
He's out of position. Now he's taking the ball out of, and he has a potential propensity to shoot those 3-pointers. That's not really where you want Joel shooting the ball at.
But you understand the other part of this whole Celtics thing, why it's like not a thing, right?
Again, I'm telling you,
it's because now all of that pressure is off of them, and they just have relief. They've always played with their food. They play with their food even in this series.
I can't even. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with
They're not
that.
coming out like Jordan and Pippen, like we're gonna take over the world. They're
We'll
like,
see. We'll see. We'll see how the mindset changes. We'll see. Jaylen Brown is going to play with that dog in him. Jaylen Brown. That's only going to elevate with Jaylen Brown. I would suspect. Again, going to Team USA, I think is going to help Tatum a lot because he's going to learn from these veterans. He's going to learn how to take the shots that come where you don't have to force your shot, and that's what he was. That's what he's done in his career. Force shots.
He's content, bro.
You're not giving these guys any credit. But I mean, and if they got the dude who can stay healthy,
Al Horford's content. Stops.
I mean, I wouldn't say Al Horford's content, but there's only going to be so much he can do. I mean, he's
content, man. What else are we doing out here? I done played 20 years. I finally got my ring. You think he's coming out here running sprints, full speed?
If he was content, he wouldn't have came back this year. I don't think he's content. But there's
he came back.
There's only so much.
Ring. Now he has a ring. Man, wind sprints suck after you're 40 years old and have a ring. Wow, I don't want to do that anymore.
I understand. So
back to the Dominican, I'll buy those 20 acres and thanks.
Is Kyrie? Does Denver what does Dallas need to do? Is Kyrie a good enough second man? Do you run him? I mean,
he's a great second man. You see what they need a third.
They need a third, yeah. I think that's what that is. They need a third, or they need PJ to step up in crunch time.
Oh, right.
So the NBA, the title odds for next year: Boston plus 300, Denver plus 750, Minnesota plus 850. What's a better bet?
Who was number 2?
Denver at 750.
Oh, I'll take that.
Minnesota at 850.
I'll take the Denver at 750.
I mean, considering you think they ought to won this year, that's a pretty good bet, huh? Right now.
Okay. Well, I think that the Joker and Jamal are going to take getting slapped in the mouth a little bit different than Jason Tatum drinking from the goblet of greatness. Kind of forgetting what time the games actually start, and massive commercials and.
When do you? Okay, Cleveland, you're gonna have to give me a time when somebody won a championship and just fell off. At 25. Well, I guess there's a lot of those guys. I was surprised by your take of Tatum just not being the game not elevating once they win a championship. That's kind of surprising. That's kind of surprising. So the Pistons fired Monty. So your favorite. Let's go back to your favorite to win the championship next year. I know it's early. I'm not holding you to this. We're not putting nothing on it. But your finals to win the championship next year is the Denver Nuggets. OKC, no. Minnesota, no faith in Minnesota. No faith in the Kings. The Clippers, the Lakers. Where the Lakers at? Where the Lakers?
First and foremost, Cameron, like you said, it's far too early because this is the time when the league recalibrates itself, and the league hasn't recalibrated.
You talking about recalibrating? There's the Minnesota is not going nowhere. Minnesota is going to be a top 4 team in the Western Conference. Okay, Oklahoma City Thunder is going to to be a top 4 team in the Western Conference. Denver Nuggets are going to be a top 4 team in the Western Conference.
You see where you're going? The way the Minnesota Timberwolves are presently constructed, they will not get past the second round. They have to do something different. But we don't know how they're going to be reconstructed because the draft hasn't happened. Free agency hasn't happened. You saw the last
in the draft is going to change Minnesota's position to being a top 3 team in the Western Conference.
So you saw the last half of the season, right? You saw how Victor Wembanyama started to figure things out a little bit, and they have the 4 and the 8. Vic's not going to be a factor?
Nothing in the NBA draft. There's not a player in this NBA draft who's going to change in any way the top 3 teams in the Eastern or Western Conference fall. No one in the draft is doing that. Victor Wembanyama, with a year under his belt, is not changing the top 6 teams in the Western Conference.
Totally disagree.
You have Victor. You didn't believe in Victor last season, and you have Victor Wembanyama elevating to get to the 6th seed in the Western Conference.
Okay, when France wins the gold medal.
What? You just told me. You just told me a team winning the NBA Finals, the 2 guys are going to be comfortable, fat, and happy with their final championship.
I said Jason Tatum will be. I didn't say both of them.
So when France win the gold medal, what?
Vic's going to have that confidence. I'm going to come back to the NBA and,
You think Victor Wembanyama is going to lead the San Antonio Spurs into the 6th seed in the Western Conference?
Yeah.
You got something on that? You got something on that?
It's too early. You don't listen. You're the headphones working tonight? Because you don't seem to be listening to me too good. I already said the draft hasn't happened. Free agency hasn't happened. So the league hasn't recalibrated itself.
And I've told you the draft,
you're going to see something different.
There's no one in the draft. Your guy Edie, if he went to San Antonio, that doesn't make them.
You don't even know who's in the draft right now.
Well, there's no one in the draft who's going to change.
You keep saying that, but you don't even know who's in the draft.
What, you think Bronny is going to change the fortunes of the Western Conference?
Bronny,
what do you think Bronny's going to do?
This hole by just not admitting you don't know who's in the draft.
I know there's no one in the draft that's going to change the fortune of anybody in the Western Conference. I know that.
You don't know who's in the draft, so you don't know what they're going to do.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you have faith in somebody. Maybe you have faith in the Frenchman.
Look at Doncic before the draft, right?
Maybe you have confidence in the Frenchman. I think there's a Frenchman who's competing for the number 1 spot in the draft.
There? Sure.
Yeah, I think there's a Frenchman out there. Maybe you have confidence in that French guy coming and changing the fortunes of the NBA. I don't. I don't have the confidence in him changing the fortunes of the NBA.
Spurs got the 4 and the 8 and some free agency capital.
A trade? Yeah, there's obviously.
Is it your guy John Morant coming back?
Again, there's nobody in you
playing with what's your prodigy?
Marcus Smart and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bain and
Marcus Smart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, again. I will say it again. There is nobody in the NBA draft this year. There's nobody being drafted next week that's going to change the fortunes of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. Not one player.
I'll say that.
I can say it. Hold me to that. Juneteenth. Right now, Juneteenth, week 297 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. I will say it loudly and proudly. There's nobody in the draft that's going to change the fortune of the top.
Zion going to be healthy for the playoffs.
What's that?
I said, is Zion going to be healthy for the playoffs next year? I mean,
is he in the draft, Cleveland?
You've been talking so much about Houston. They haven't calibrated themselves either. And plus, they have a high pick, right?
Nobody in the draft, Cleveland. Let me say it again so I'm very clear and specific. Now, free agency, the free agency that can happen. Free agency obviously can trade some things.
There's no one in the draft that you know of because you haven't been really following the players that are going to get drafted that closely.
There's nobody in the NBA draft who's going to change the fortunes of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference.
Okay.
Not one.
You would have said that with Luka in the draft too, and how'd that change?
I think Luka. There was more known about Luka before he came out. like I said, there's a Frenchman who might go 90, who could go number one, but he's 111 pounds, and so he might not be ready to change the fortune. So the Pistons fire Monty Williams. Do you give Monty a call? Monty's riding home with 65 mil. He leaves Detroit. He packed up the U-Haul. He got 65 mil in the bank. Do you give him a call and talk to him? Maybe you can get him on the cheap. Maybe he just wants a different scenery and doesn't have to deal with the snow in Southern California. In fact, he don't even have to break out his ice scraper or his heavy coat or nothing. He can put his boots in the closet. Do you give Monty a call or you ride with JJ Redick? What do you do? The fans want to know.
Yeah, you absolutely do not give Monty a call. He is somewhere on an island in Barbados with the itis and just tipping everybody $200 at a time and just
Are you sour on Monty now? Are you sour on Monty or
absolutely not? I mean, I don't understand why you go out of your way to he was already like not wanting the coach, but you go out of your way to make it so appealing that he can't say no, and then you give him a team that's like completely dysfunctional in every sense of the word. You give him front office.
It was a young team.
Every sense of the word.
I mean, I understand why Detroit did it.
Throw all the blame on him, and then cash him out $65 million. Yeah, what's your motivation to coach next year? Zero.
Well, he might want to get that stink off of him.
No, 65 million gets all the stink off of you. No stink on you at 65 million.
His time in Barbados, eating shrimp on the beach, that's good. He's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, he doesn't. He's not one of those like fire intensity guys that just like asks.
Yeah, Monty's had, but he's a lifer. He's a lifer. I believe he'll coach again. I mean, Monty has had some. He's had some tragedy.
He's had some tragedy. He's had some adversity. It's been well chronicled. But when somebody cashes you out $65 million all at the same time, it's not like there's nothing to prove here. There's nothing to see here.
I think there's something to prove. I think there's something to prove, and that's why he'll be back. Yeah, I think so. Because things didn't in the Phoenix. Things didn't in the Phoenix the way he wanted to do. Is as much as we all like Monty.
There's no unfinished business when somebody Count of Monte Cristo's you and just drops $65 million at your feet.
I mean, that's well and good. That says he doesn't have to coach again for the money, but he hasn't won anything. He hasn't won anything as the head coach.
Who cares?
I mean, if you're a competitor, you want to win.
I mean, he's not that competitive. Like you said, he's been through some other things. He's got like 5-6 kids. Like, yeah, focus on your family. You're already about to do that anyway, and they said no, but we'll give you all this money. Like, okay, and like, okay, we don't do that anymore, but we'll give you.
I think Phoenix kind of cashed him out too. So I don't think he was. I mean, he wasn't doing it for the money, but
so you're getting close to like $100 million.
Huh? Yeah. I mean, just for sitting around.
Yeah.
Just for sitting around. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
So you don't pick up you don't even have a conversation with him?
No.
Okay. All right. So you cool with JJ or your Brago, the coach of the former coach of the Hornets?
I'm not particularly happy with either one of those selections, but I don't.
Brago has been a head coach, and he's I like him like I like the coach for the Grizzlies. I might have a brain fart on my guy. I'm having a brain fart. But Borrego is kind of a sharp young coach. I don't know that he's going to command the respect needed to coach a veteran Lakers team. However, if the Lakers make this move here, if the Lakers make this trade that Woj is talking about, who says no to this trade here? Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan in a first rounder for Anthony Davis. Who says?
Chicago says no.
Chicago says no. I think this is Chicago. Chicago made the phone call.
Well, hello, hi. Yeah, go ahead and swing that over this way.
Oh, you're signing off on this?
I'm signing off on that.
Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan? Oh my goodness. And then so you're just gonna have an all-wing
first round pick
in a first rounder?
Yeah.
Okay, you make it sound like these first rounders, man. Like there's a Luka or Wembanyama in the draft. I keep telling you there's not. Okay, interesting. So you want an injury prone Zach LaVine, long on the two DeMar DeRozan, and then a young dude. That's what you'll take with playing it with LeBron.
I've heard AD sprain his wrist too many times. Opening his car door, falling to the ground and having a headache and can't play for 3 days.
So LeBron and DeRozan,
you played 75 last year, which is great, but
so you're good with LeBron and DeMar running the back. Okay, all right, that's interesting. Jeff Van Gundy agrees to sit next to Ty Lue.
Love the game.
I got some questions about this. I have some questions about this move here. Is Ty Lue think is John Craig, the assistant coach, who Ty Lue puts a lot of stock in the assistant coach in the player development aspect. Yeah. I want to say John Craig. I think John Craig is the head coach who would do a lot of coaching, actually. If he's leaving, this makes sense. But one of my questions for Lawrence Frank, the GM of the Clippers, is who initiated that move there? Did Van Gundy call you guys and say, was you doing your guy a solid? Like, you want to give Van Gundy a job? Did Ty say, I need some help? Or are you guys telling Ty he needs some help? Like, how did this thing? I'm curious at how this went down.
Well, Van Gundy didn't initiate the conversation. You don't shop your resume around to NBA teams. They call you or they don't.
I mean, you don't. I mean, you don't. They didn't see each other in the spa
They might. That's what I'm saying. They might chit chat. And, hey, I'm not really doing nothing. No, why don't you come down and chat about this for a minute? Okay. You don't go like, hey, I was once a head coach and I was looking for some work. You have any openings?
Did he hear Craig? I heard the Pistons are looking at the assistant Craig. Now, there's going to be open spot there. I mean, what are you guys going to do with that role? I wouldn't mind sitting in. Did it go like that? I don't know. I'm curious because he's a head coach. I'm gonna have to put some fillers out there.
I feel you on that. It'll make no difference next year or the year after. I mean,
Oh boy. So I mean, he's not a health coach. That's one thing I can say. He's not gonna. I don't know if he can coach the guys up to stay healthy longer. I don't. He's not a strength and conditioning coach. He's not a flexologist. He's not a
salary capologist. None of that.
Well, they don't need it. They got Ballmer. They don't need a capologist, but they need a psychologist. They need somebody to physiologist, somebody to help those bones and tendons. That's what they need. Somebody to focus on those bones and tendons to help the players stay healthy longer. That's what they need. And I don't think Van Gundy covers that one. So I'm very curious about that signing. Barkley says he's done after next season. I was gonna say I don't know what sparked this conversation, but obviously they've been talking about TNT. This has been their last year. The NBA rights the contract is out. It looks like NBC. We're getting NBC back again. Amazon Prime is going to do some games. and that kind of left TNT out in the cold unless they come back with a huge offer. But Barkley being gone, I think do you think that's going to leave a void in the game, or is that just kind of a nice to have as far as the NBA goes?
It's both. It will leave a void in the game if he leaves. It isn't nice to have because the game will go on even without Charles Barkley commentating on it.
Sure.
But it's just it's just some a cash grab, man. It's just
you think this is posturing?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think the NBA on TNT paid him enough that he doesn't have to do some posturing?
So he's going to have a fantastic season. Everybody is still going to love Chuck. There's going to be all these other outlets that don't have a Charles Barkley, and his salary will double.
But as you mentioned, like, the game will go on. Like, before Chuck, there was no Chuck. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
But
there was Magic, there was Isaiah, there was
I mean, you can do Sunday Night Football without John Madden, but wouldn't you rather do it with John Madden? He doesn't need all the money. He's made all of these endorsements for 20 years. He can just be like, no, I don't really want to do football anymore. But you're John Madden. We'll give you twice as much as you were making at that other place to be John Madden over here. Okay.
So this is a cash grab.
Cash grab.
So
Absolutely.
when he says he's not gonna,
he's like, oh, it's my last Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you. No.
What else is Chuck gonna do? Is that what you're saying? Because he's trying to make some other shows. TNT try to give him Turner's trying to give him some other shows.
That's
the
cool.
Chuck and Gail show.
Until who's the richest man in the world in the history of planet Earth? Jeff Bezos. And what does he do?
So Amazon says,
and who's got the contract?
Okay.
Amazon.
So until Jeff Bezos calls.
No, when he calls, it's going to be like, hey, Chuck, twice what you were making over there. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool. I got 3 more years in me.
So on that note,
get 120 million over those 3 years. Yeah, I got that in me.
So on that note, Cleveland, what actually makes a good commentator, in your opinion? Is it playing experience? Is it charisma? Is it knowledge? Is it enthusiasm for the game? Is it love of the game? What makes? Because Kevin Harlan, who was calling Sonics games years ago, Kevin Calabro, excuse me, who was calling the Sonics game years ago, that was just enthusiasm and spirit, right? But what makes a good commentator, in your opinion?
Are you talking about during the game, like a color commentator, or are you talking about just talking about the game, like in the studio? If you're talking about the game,
like, I'm talking about, yeah. I guess when I ask the question, I'm asking it like, what would be, what makes Chuck Charles Barkley a good NBA analyst? Is it
couple of things? One, he's played the game at a very high level. Secondly, he doesn't take it particularly all that seriously. And when I say that, not that he's not taking the NBA seriously or basketball seriously, it's that he doesn't have that anxiety about, like kind of like trying to be absolutely eloquent and capturing whatever.
Joe Buck, you have to be very precise and specific in your word.
Yeah, and in addition to that, he has he's a people person, and he has a flair for kind of like just talking about regular things, which is extremely unique. And he's one of those people that like is universal, right? Like everybody likes Chuck. Like not everybody likes certain people. Like you have to be kind of a certain kind of a person to like certain people. That's again back to the Madden comparison. That's kind of that thing. Like everybody likes John Madden. Everybody likes Charles Barkley. So that's very rare. And so that kind of is what kind of drives the whole chuck wagon machine. And he doesn't really care about the repercussions of the things that he says, right? Because he's already,
he's a made man
gonna do, right? So like I don't really care what you think, and that's somewhat rare, especially in that industry.
Who's a comparison to Charles Barkley? Like if Charles literally said this is it, I'm not even going to TNT next year. Like who would be?
Oh, he has no comp. I mean, like Bill Walton was kind of his own thing, right? His own entity. Like you have to like him or not like him, right? It's like it's not always going to be about basketball analytics and why this person was in the post and what should they have done the slippery eel or should they have done the bounce pass or should they have been in the 2-3 zone? It's not always going to be that. And so I don't think that there is a personality that is a comp in the league at present. I know a lot of people kind of try and kind of create their own kind of niche, and everyone kind of has their, we'll see where Jamal, kind of ends up. I kind of like the way Jamal is doing. He's kind of getting
Jamal's pretty good, yeah.
And kind of, going with that. Reggie Miller kind of has his own thing, but not quite.
Yeah, Jamal's been pretty good. Reggie Miller is great.
Calabro's daughter did stuff. That's wild. Oh, brother. Dave Calabro. Oh, yeah. Kevin and Marcus Johnson was my favorite duo ever. Yeah. Because they were so just like, peanut butter and jelly. And that's another thing, right? Because not everyone gels together. That's one of the main criticisms of this last NBA Finals, right? Mike Breen and JJ Redick and Doris Burke, it kind of felt like it was just going in different directions all the time. There was no cohesion. They weren't really a cool.
Well, that's because we heard them one season. Like that was kind of a new, and they just kind of threw
them together, right? So
halfway through the season, yeah.
Yeah, so after you come off of, Van Gundy and Mark Jackson and Breen doing it for, 15 years, it's just it's like you realize that it makes somewhat of a difference, right? And you can't just throw just anything together and hope that it works. It takes time.
So yeah, Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, I think were good.
And that's player coach relationship, and on top of everything else, right?
Right. Yes. I think they were good, but apparently Van Gundy just criticized the ref too much for Adam Silver. They said you can't just keep criticizing the game every game. But I mean, yeah, I think that relationship was that dynamic was I don't know. Adam Silver is kind of being. I guess to say, in one breath, I want to say Adam Silver was being kind of too sensitive, but then for the CBS or ESPN to kind of respond and not give ABC to respond and take them off the broadcast.
Yeah, man, you can't be doing that with that kind of. You see how massive that contract is. That can't be a thing, man. Hey, cut that out,
man. I understand it, but they're better than they're part of the game. You can't just take these guys off the game and expect fans to enjoy it the same. They're part of the game. There has to be some cohesion there. There have to be some people that work together, like you mentioned. You have 15 years of this one duo, and then you take them off and then replace them midway through. Obviously, Doc got the job, and that probably wasn't anticipated. But I don't know. You got I think they need to be a little bit more cognizant than that. So we'll see. We'll see if you're right. We'll mark this show for a few different reasons. We'll see if you're right. And Chuck, accepts the deal from Bezos and end up going to Amazon. But he said as of now, Chuck says he's done. Pacers signed Pascal Siakam to a 4-year deal. You like that deal for the Pacers? Did that put them in the top 4, top 6 of the Eastern Conference going into next year? Again, you want to wait to the draft and see where Edie goes. Like that's going to make a huge, major difference.
It's not too early to say that. I mean, top 4 or 5. 4 or 5. I think they hold serve there. Signing Siakam to a long-term deal. Does that get them to the NBA Finals? I don't know if that's the missing piece per se, but
I think they probably miss Buddy Hield more than they thought they did because they're going to need that extra scorer, another scorer on their team. But enough basketball. We'll follow up and we'll have the draft preview next week, I guess, because since Cleveland wants to keep saying that somebody in the draft is going to change the fortunes of these top 8 NBA teams in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, we're going to have to take a deeper look at that next week because that's whatever Cleveland is thinking. He didn't even know the French guy coming out next in the draft next week, but he thinks somebody in the draft is going to significantly change the fortunes of those top teams, 4 teams in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference.
Referring to him as the French guy, he's kind of okay.
I mean, hey, that's all I know. Well, we'll talk. I'll have more content for you or more clarification for you guys next week. But Cleveland seems to think there's somebody in the draft. He didn't even like Edie coming out of Purdue, but somehow he thinks there's somebody else in this draft that's going to have a significant impact. What's that?
One of those teams has the number 4 pick and the number 8 pick.
Again, if they took Zach Edey, that's not making a difference. Now, if they got a score, and the point guard,
and traded the 4 and the 8 for
who?
Not sure.
Trey Young. You think Trey Young is going to make a difference? No,
I don't think Trey Young is worth the 4 and the 8.
If they went and got Fox out of Sacramento.
So now you're hearing about so now you've seen how the league can.
If they went and got Fox out of Sacramento, that might be a difference maker then.
So there are some possibilities then if you have the 4 and the 8 pick.
I probably would draft them. Would you use the 4 and 8? Would you trade for somebody? Because there's 1 or 2 players.
Because you're not 100% wrong. I'm not saying there's a generational talent in this draft, which is why you would trade the 4 and the 8 for something that you need right now.
But who could they? Cleveland, seriously, who? If they traded for Jalen Brunson, did that make them a top 4 or 5 team in the Western Conference?
Yeah, they traded for Jalen Brunson.
Oh, all of a sudden you like Brunson? All of a sudden the Brunson's a game changer?
If he's playing next to Victor Wembanyama, yeah. He doesn't have to be their best player. He doesn't have to be doing old man hoop and playing 47 minutes a game.
Fair enough.
I don't need you to score 36 points a game every game for us to win. 22 will be just fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Get Nick in position.
Oh, listen, that now. Yeah. I don't think that works. All of a sudden now he has an appreciation for what Brunson can do
for his effort.
Oh. So all of a sudden
is want to.
Oh boy. Now I'm trying to touche. No, so now if Fox went there, you'd have appreciation for what Fox can do as well. De'Aaron Fox with it. I guess there's a few moves that they can do. I would lean on picking those players though. If I were San Antonio.
Why would you lean on picking those players and you just said this draft sucks? You telling me the guy. You can't name a single other person in this draft.
I can't, but that's not my. I'm not living for the NBA draft, so I haven't been scouting for the last 6 months on potential players entering the draft. That's why I can't name a player. But I tell you, by next week, I can have
You can't name a player because there's no like. I'm not saying you're wrong. There's no like generational player in this draft.
So why you keep talking about the damn draft then? Why you keep talking about the damn draft?
Because it's just on paper. Obviously, someone's going to be generational from this draft. And if you have the 4 and the 8, yeah.
Why I would choose to pick players versus drafting or trading the picks, unless they're getting I don't even like a Devin Booker, but unless they're getting a Devin Booker back, unless they're getting a De'Aaron Fox, unless they're getting a John Morant with the 4 and the 8, I'm not making that move, because when you trade those 2 players or those 2 picks, to me, and the reason you would trade those 2 picks is like you're in win now mode. I don't think they're in win now mode. So I would pick a player. Now, obviously, you have to do your due diligence, but I'm looking for a point guard, Jalen Brunson type point guard. Obviously, Jalen Brunson in Dallas would be enough. I would be happy with that type of pick. With Jalen Brunson, not what he did last year in New York. I'm not looking for him to carry the team, but I'm looking for more so the table setter, what he did in Dallas, that type of player. Obviously, get Victor in the right spot, put him in the right spot, make sure he gets the ball when he needs the ball, et cetera, et cetera. And they need a knockdown shooter. They get a point guard, somebody who can control the pace of the game, and then get them a knockdown shooter. So now you have somebody handling the ball for Wemby, and then you have somebody that Wemby can kick it out to. I would get that they can play with for the next 3 to 4 years, and in 2 to 3 years, those players are ready to then make a difference. And that's what I personally, if it was up to me, that's personally what I would do.
So you can get a knockdown shooter in the draft. You cannot get a point guard that controls tempo in the draft.
Again, I believe that type of player to get you 15 points, 8 or 9 assists.
Cameron, point guards don't play more than a year in college, so you're not going to get someone that's going to be able to control and dictate tempo in the NBA.
They don't have to be from America. I believe that point guard out there is that true point guard is available.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tony Parker's not in the draft. So
again, that's personally what I would do, and that's what I would do. I'm looking for that point guard. I'm looking for that quintessential point guard. I'm looking for a knockdown shooter. Because that's what they need. We talked about it multiple times. That San Antonio team, those guys were looking. They had Wemby on the opposite of what the girls are doing in the WNBA right now. Those guys playing with Wemby, they're thinking they're on TV, and this is my time to shine, and not playing with this dude. You know what I'm saying? Not helping this dude out. They need somebody. They need that quintessential point guard to help him shine, and then they just need a knockdown shooter. Now, if they can find that, I don't think they're going to find it. And those are the guys that I mentioned, the De'Aaron Fox. I would take Devin Booker, and then try to find me a point guard that is a disgruntled point guard around the league somewhere. The John Morant, I would take him. I don't know that Memphis is giving him up, but I would take. Those are the few players that I would say, okay, let's see if we can make that move for. But I don't think. Calais Campbell signed with the Dolphins, Cleveland. He says he went there because they have a lot of talent and they have a lot of promise. Is Calais Campbell an adequate replacement for Christian Wilkins?
No.
Calais Campbell, big body. Take up the middle.
Football players average or age in dog years. You know this. He's really, really long in the tooth.
Yes.
And yeah, he's not a
defensive linemen are better at in their later days than they are as Christian Wilkins obviously was a formidable rookie. Usually those rookie defensive linemen, this is why the Dolphins should have made a way to sign him. Usually your young defensive linemen don't pan out, but they're much better when they're longer in the tooth. They're older. So is he an adequate replacement? No. I'm not gonna try to act like he is. But is he gonna be serviceable at 38 years old?
Oh, serviceable for sure.
Defensive linemen play much better later in their years than they.
Yeah, it's down to 305. It's warm, the joints loosen up a little bit.
Could be a problem. That could be a problem too, because now it's 95 instead of 65. It might be better if it was only 65 some places. But he was in Arizona, so I don't know. Why haven't the Cowboys signed Dak? I told you I don't think they're going to sign Dak, but here we are. I say that halfway facetiously because I just don't think they're going to sign him, and they're going to let him walk. But here we are, a month away from the season starting, and they haven't signed him. Really tells me that they're not going to sign him. But why do you think they haven't signed him?
They don't believe in him.
So you agree now that they're going to let him walk?
I think so. At this point, I think they see the other players that they have to sign, and signing Dak to be one of the top, 3 or 4 highest paid quarterbacks in the league is not really their agenda, considering that he hasn't really gotten them that far in the playoffs at this point.
They're going to be stuck with Trey Lance. Excuse me. They're going to be stuck with Trey Lance going into the year after, not this year coming up, but the year after. I mean, did that make sense?
Makes more sense than paying Dak $60 million a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Some guys you just don't want to pay that type of put that type of price tag on them. Some guys aren't worth that. I agree with you, Cleveland. I totally agree with you. That's why I would have paid my young defensive lineman versus try to save money to overpay a quarterback. I would have did that. But for whatever reason, you agree with the Cowboys, but you don't agree with it with what's going on in the 305.
No. That's a done deal. That's a $250 million coming. That's $250 million coming any day now.
You heard about what old boy got paid, right?
Sure did hear what Trevor Lawrence got paid.
Woof.
So no less than $250 million. I think maybe even closer to 300.
What was Trevor Lawrence's deal? I didn't chronicle that one.
I believe it was 5,285. It was a whole bunch guaranteed.
Yeah, it was like 100 over 100 million guaranteed.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big. Yeah.
So fans, Tua, 5-year, 300, 150 guaranteed.
You're killing me. 200 million in total guarantees. Or this is for Trevor Lawrence. 5-year, 275, 200 million guaranteed.
Cam, since we're throwing out elbows, right? Throwing out elbows. Tua over 250. How you feel about it?
I don't. I'll be sick. I'll be sick if that happens.
So you know it's coming then.
I mean, how can they do that, man? How can they do that with
Well, because it's Tua Tagovailoa, one of the top 7 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Stop it, Cleveland. You don't believe that. You're being funny. You're trying to be funny. You don't believe that, man. The guy has not won a playoff the guy has not won a playoff.
I believe he threw for over 4,000 yards last year.
He led the league in passing. In passing yards.
Well, there you go. If kept upright, there's really big things he can do.
If kept upright, that's a big thing. If kept upright, in his 3 years in the league, he's been kept upright. He's been able to finish the season once. And when he finished the season, he had a chance. He had a chance last year in all the most games he played in his career. He had the chance to beat the division rival and have a home game, a home playoff game, right? You had a home game the last game of the season and your home field. If you beat this team, we have a home game next week. If we lose, we go to KC and play in 0 below or 30 below. They go out there and stink it up. They scored 12 points in that game.
Well, Cam, football is a team game. You don't win or lose with one individual player. So, you have to put that. You have to put that on everybody.
Here you go. So if I bring up Gino, what's your thoughts about Gino? If I bring that up, same concept up with Gino, you want to tell me, Gino stinks. Oh, you get all frowned up.
He sucks. I will trade you Gino and 2 seconds for Tua right now to come run Grubb's offense. Oh boy, say the word,
man.
And we'll pay him the 300 you won't pay him.
Yeah. I don't want to pay him.
Actually, because they're going to pay him that. They'll pay him the 300 you don't want to pay him.
Four years,
and 2
4
seconds.
years, 160. 4 years, 160, 100 guaranteed.
Oh man, okay, Scrooge McDuck, man, your penny pitching stuff don't work, man.
4 years. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Boots. He's not.
Oh, they're doing it, Boots.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Boots. They got the Mont Blanc pen out right now.
Again, 4 years, 160. That's what I'm offering. That's what's on the table. 4 years, 160, 100 guaranteed.
Absolutely is not. You just
100 guaranteed.
Cameron, you just heard what they paid Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is 6'6", the number 1 draft pick. And well, he has been injured. He has been injured himself. But we can fix that. Tua, we can't make Tua bigger, stronger, faster. Clearly. We can't fix that. And so we're not saddling. I'm not saddling
passing last year.
I'm sorry?
Led the league in passing last year.
Yeah, that's because he's throwing to arguably the best wide receiver in the game. And he had probably the best wide receiver duo in the game. Yes. I bet.
Okay, well, you're acting like anybody could do that. You're acting like Brock Purdy could have done that. You're acting like it's anybody.
Brock Purdy. Come on, Brock. Brock, you get 250. Brock, you get 250. You sign with me, you get 250. I don't know what Shanahan's doing out there. Shanahan might want 2 first rounders. But Brock, you come on down to South Florida. I'm giving Brock 250 off the top, off the rip. You give Brock. Yeah, come on, Brock. Brock is proving it. Brock in his 2 seasons in the NFL, he proven that he can get his team to the conference finals, period. End of story. 2 seasons starting conference finals, period. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. And you want to compare him to Tua Tagovailoa, who can't beat his conference or division rival to have a home playoff game? Get out of here.
You make it all about Tua. It's not an individual game. I mean, football is the ultimate.
They didn't score no points. That's the quarterback. That's on the quarterback.
Calling.
It ain't the running back.
Did the receivers?
That's the same play call. The same play calling got the wide receiver 18 yards.
I don't recall how many holding penalties the offensive line had, so I can't remember. I can't remember again.
That's the quarterback dropping back, not getting rid of the ball fast enough.
It's not NBA hoop, Cam. It's not NBA hoop. You need to transition out. We done with that for a minute. You need to get back into that football mindset, where everybody is, locked in. We all we need, we all we got. That kind of stuff.
Ayuk wants big money. Ayuk wants big money, man. They're already paying. They're already paying
Debo.
Nick Bosa. They're already paying Debo. Maybe they made the wrong move and paid the wrong receiver. Maybe that's kind of what their situation is.
What?
Yes.
So
Debo was not a factor in the second half of the season last year.
Wow, goodness.
Debo was not a factor. Debo was not a factor in the second half of the season last year.
Okay.
When you got him on your fantasy team, you see things a little differently. Debo was not a factor.
You see things for what they didn't do for you personally. Adverse.
Didn't do on the field
for a football team. Come on.
Brock Purdy, come on, Brock. You got open door policy, buddy.
I believe all the games they lost was without Debo in the lineup. Right?
What's that?
I believe all the games they lost were without Debo in the lineup, right?
What's up, Ninja? Where you been, big dog?
Oh, what's up, Ninja?
Ninja back in the house. Hey, happy Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day to all you guys. Boots. You guys tuning in. Barry, if it's applicable, happy Father's Day to all you guys, Ninja, as well. Happy Father's Day to you, man. Thank you guys for tuning in on this Juneteenth, glorious Juneteenth day. So, Cleveland, let's take a look at this. Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, this 2001 draft, NFL draft, Trevor Lawrence goes number one. I looked at in the 2021 draft. Yeah. Looking at this draft, Cleveland, it was kind of, I just went through the draft. There was I counted 16 wins, just guys that you would get draft again. 15 losses were players who, we're still wondering where they are. And then I had a few players in here that I didn't put a check by their name, but a few players in here that we questioned.
Okay.
So let's go down the list.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence, obviously Jacksonville would make that trade again.
That's a win.
That's a win. Zach Wilson.
No.
Trey Lance.
To be determined.
Kyle Pitts.
To be determined.
Well, I put Kyle Pitts as a W.
Really?
Jamar Chase went number 5 in the draft.
It's a win. It's a home run.
Jalen Waddle went number 6 in the draft.
It's a win. It's a home run.
Penei Sewell.
It's a win. It's a home run.
J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn, cornerback for the Panthers.
Call it a wash.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they was injured, Ninja. They was injured, man. They did what they could. Yeah, J.C. Horn. That I would give that a to be determined. Patrick Surtain.
To win.
Devontae Smith at number 10.
To win.
Justin Fields at number 11.
Ooh, to be determined.
Yeah, I got that was one of my question marks right there. Justin Fields was one of my question marks. But this is crazy how this draft went. That was number 10 pick. Micah Parsons was number 12.
It's a win. It's a home run.
Rashawn Slater was number 13.
It's a win. It's a home run.
Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman, the Jets.
Call it L.
Mac Jones, the New England Patriots.
LL.
He gave him 2 L's. Zavian Collins, Arizona, the linebacker.
Call that an L. Never heard of that dude.
Right. Alex Leatherwood, Raiders, offensive lineman.
They keep saying he sucks. I'm gonna give that an L.
Jalen Phillips, Miami Dolphins.
It's a win.
Yeah, he just blew out his stuff last week. Jamin Davis, Washington linebacker. Yeah, exactly.
Go L.
Kadarius Toney, wide receiver, Giants. Tony got a ring.
I'm gonna go TBD on that. You know, I mean, not really like I won't say full win. I didn't see a little bit more, but yeah, all right.
Kwity Paye, Colts defensive lineman, number 21.
L.
I mean, he's playing. He's playing. He got some plays. Let's see. Let me check this out. Kwity Paye was the last guy I'm on. Let me just look at something. So it was at number 21. He played in 43 games for the Colts. Caleb Fairley, DB Tennessee. That's
TBD. Not really heard of him.
Yeah, Christian Darrishaw.
Not a household name. Not a household name.
Minnesota. I mean, he played in 40 games though. Najee Harris, number 24 with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm gonna call that a win.
Really?
At 23, yeah. I mean, he gave you 4 good years.
Yeah, 23. I guess at 24, you look at it like that. I thought he should have been a first rounder. I mean, an early first day guy. Well, no, that's still the first day. I expected more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I expected more from him. Travis Etienne at 25.
Home run.
The Steelers could have had Etienne.
I know.
Greg Newsome the second, DB for the Browns. That's a win. Rashad Bateman.
TBD.
So I had my question marks were Justin Fields because he was traded, Najee Harris because I expected more, and then Bateman was the other guy. I was like, I don't know where this. He got 34 games under his belt. Peyton Turner, defensive end for New Orleans. Eric Stokes, Green Bay Packers, defensive back. Greg Rousseau, the Buffalo Bills. He was number 30. He got 46 games under his belt.
That's a win. Almost a home run.
Odefe, Baltimore defensive end, 45 games. Owe. And then the final round or the final pick in the first round was Joe Tyron Shoyinka, Tampa Bay. He got 51 games. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Kwity. That's what I'm saying. Kwity had a decent year. He's getting some playing time. So it's not a total. He has a good story. Kwity Paye, Nigerian, if I remember correctly, coming over, brought his whole family over. But that was the 2021 draft. So we're gonna have to do this more often. Kind of look back at this is a good time to do it. To look back and see who's making significant picks. The Dolphins cashed in with both of their picks. So with
Waddle and Rousseau.
No, not Rousseau, but Phillips, Jalen Phillips.
I'm sorry, Phillips. Yeah,
Phillips went to the Bills. Everson Griffin signed to a 1-year deal by the Cowboys. I think that's a decent pickup. This year.
Everson Griffin? Wow, is this 2014, man? What are you talking about?
They need some. I
think Coach Carroll coached Everson Griffin in college. Are you kidding me?
Did he really?
I'm not even joking.
He played in Minnesota for a bunch of years, though. He did play in Minnesota for a bunch of years, but they signed him to a 1-year deal. Cowboys need help, man. I don't know. The Cowboys have kind of been quiet. They need some help.
Wow. Okay.
The Bears on Hard Knocks this offseason. Now, so Bears is one of your adopted teams. I mean, you didn't. I'm annoyed I'm I'm adopting it for you. You won't admit it, but you've been drooling over Caleb Williams for the last 2 seasons. Now he goes to the Bears, #1 draft pick, obviously. And then they got Rome Odunze. I mean, I think you were folding Rome's clothes last season, weren't you? Going down to the campus, weren't you folding his clothes for him?
Wasn't folding his clothes, but I did watch every game that he played for the last 2 seasons.
I think you were doing more than just watching the game. So
no, nothing more than
so I know you're adopting the Bears. Will you watch Hard Knocks to see the Rome, the Dunze Caleb connection? The AFC North teams. Now, did you watch the in-season show? So you don't like the Cleveland? You're probably the only NFL fan of the NFL that doesn't watch Hard Knocks. You have to be. You're the only one I know who doesn't watch Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I'll explain this again. The last time I watched Hard Knocks was when they were doing the Jets, and Rex was the coach, and Darrelle Revis was holding out, and it was just this circus, right? But it was
when they locked the boy out of when the boy couldn't get into the training camp, into the facility. Like,
yeah, all that, Mark Sanchez, all that. But it's like, for me, there comes a point where it's just too much information. I don't necessarily need to see what you're reading when you go to sleep. I don't necessarily need to see what type of orange, juice you drink before the practice. I don't necessarily need to see the coach, coming up to you after every single play, telling you what you did or didn't do wrong. I don't need to see you talking to your mom or your girlfriend and your feelings and emotions and anxiety. It's like it's just too much for me.
Again, so Boot says he hasn't watched it. He did watch the Dolphins though. I found it interesting. So I was covering the Chargers when they did both LA teams. So I did have to sign a waiver. It was actually on. They used my image a couple times on the show. So that was interesting. But it was during COVID year. So we were doing our everything through Zoom, and we couldn't be in the facility or really close to the players. We got access, but kind of, there was some distance between us in the practice field, which was interesting. But I think for the most part, there's some good stuff on there, man. Yeah, I don't need to know that Jerry Jones eats his egg McMuffin on a glass plate. Like, yeah, that's a little over the top.
However, so I will say this, Cameron. Now that we're kind of talking about it, the 2 seasons I wish I would have loved, would have had my undivided attention, was the Jimmy Johnson Dallas Cowboys if they did Hard Knocks.
They weren't doing it back then. They weren't doing it back then. They were doing it.
Or the Seahawks, either the season that they won before they won the Super Bowl, or the season after. Oh boy, undivided attention, no doubt.
So okay, you're being biased, but no, I think it's all good. I think it's all good content, man. I think it's all good content.
It really is, but
it's behind the scenes. Some of that stuff you have to,
yeah.
It's not. I think they're getting better, and they want to tell stories that kind of captivate you. I'm surprised they didn't. Was it last year that they did with the Jets? No, who did they do last year? They did the Jets with Aaron Rodgers last year, right? That was one that I was not.
I think that was the one where he was like, they were all like just amazed, like, oh my god, what?
Yeah, that was a kind of that was way over the top. That was way over the top. Like, all right, guys. All right, all you New Yorkers just fawning over yourselves over this dude who, that was way over the top. But I want to see the rookie. I want to see the rookie come into the league. Obviously, I want to see what the rookies do. This connection. I want to see kind of their chemistry, how they come together, etc. The in season tournament. Now it just I was a little too busy to watch what was going on during the week. Once the season got going on, like they do their show on Thursday or Tuesday, but now they're doing the AFC North, doing all 4 teams in the AFC North and the Bears. So I mean, they're really giving the HBO some content because they're doing all 4 teams. That's going to be interesting to see. So maybe now they get less of the the players calling their mom and talking to the girlfriend about her picking up some their dry cleaning or whatever, because now they're doing more teams, so there's less of that detailed content that you need. It'll be more football stuff, you know what I mean? So that might be a little bit more interesting than in-season stuff here.
Gotcha.
Cleveland, who's your dark horse for the NFL playoffs? It is way early, Cleveland. I'm not holding you to this. I'm not trying to put nothing on it, but dark horse teams that did, and I consider a dark horse if they did not make the playoffs last year, they'll make the playoffs this year. That's what I'm considering a dark horse. Who's your dark horse for the AFC and a dark horse for the NFC?
Dark horse for the AFC is the Colts.
Colts? Really? Think Richardson gonna be that solid, huh?
Richardson, Jonathan Taylor. We'll see what those.
Taylor's not holding out this year. He's gonna come back. Have a full season training camp. Interesting. Okay.
Dark horse for the NFC.
Hold on, wait. The Colts play in the division with another dude you fawning over is
Stroud and the Houston. Yeah.
You think they're gonna have 2 teams to make the playoffs? Interesting. Okay. Another team.
So the other dark horse team in the NFC with the Bears.
Oh, you got the Bears making the playoffs? Come on, bro. I mean, again, we just talked about your passion for Rome, and you've been drooling over Caleb for the last 2 seasons. I get it. But the Bears are in the division. Do you know who they're in their division?
Yeah, the Lions.
You don't remember. Let me help you out. Jordan Love. Have you heard of that kid?
I have. I saw him go down to Dallas and destroy them last year in the playoffs.
Okay. They're going to make the playoffs this season.
Okay.
The Detroit Lions with Jared Goff. Do you know they were a game away, or they were a few snaps away from the Super Bowl, weren't they?
Yeah, they're poorly coached.
They were a few snaps away from the Super Bowl last season, weren't they?
Poorly coached.
So if the coach kicks a couple field goals, you don't think he learned from that?
I don't know. Did he? They're not doing the hard knocks with Dan Campbell this year.
Oh wow! You taking shots at Dan Campbell, so he can't learn from his mistakes?
I don't know.
Wow, shots fired. So you have the rookie Caleb Williams leading his team to the playoffs over the defending conference champs in the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers. Come on.
Packers lost their number 1 running back, right? Did I miss that?
Who?
Their number 1 running back?
Who did?
The Packers.
The Packers have the best running back in the NFL today. They got Josh Jacobs. No, I know you don't believe in those Alabama backs, but Josh Jacobs is the best running back in the game right now. You got an argument against that?
Well, he's not going to have the most rushing yards in the NFL, Cameron. You know that, right?
You want to make another pick, Cleo?
Oh boy.
I'll allow you to make another pick. I mean, again, I'm not holding you to this. I'm not trying to put nothing.
It's early.
It's early. Do you want to put something on the Bears making the playoffs?
You want to put something on
I know it's June. I know it's June, but do you want to put something on that? Are you that confident?
Jacobs not leading the league in rushing?
I mean, that's a big thing to lead the league in rushing.
He was the best running back in football.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is.
Absolute total nonsense.
Name a better running back than Josh Jacobs.
Jonathan Taylor.
We just talked about how he missed 4 games last year.
Saquon Barkley. Travis Etienne.
Name somebody who plays 16 games. Name somebody who plays a full season.
Did Josh Jacobs play a full season last year?
Who?
Did Josh Jacobs play a full season last year?
Well, he played 13 out of 16 games.
They play 17 games now, Cam. So 13 out of 17 games.
I mean, 2 years ago, he led the league in rushing. I mean, so
that's cool because football players age in dog years. I like Kyron Williams more than Josh Jacobs.
Help him out, Boots. Help him out, Boots. But again,
no. Help you out, not me. You didn't even mention Christian Jackson McCaffrey.
Okay, he's number 2, Boots. Okay, he's number 2. He's number 2, but he's number 2.
I'm not even sure he's better than Kenneth Walker III.
Josh Jacobs is an every down running back. That might be Boots. That might be the separation between him and
what's my man's name?
That might be the separation
in Detroit that I had in fantasy last year. That was kind of so.
Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not better than Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't give a damn what you say. I don't think he's better than B. John. Since we're getting into it, and is he better than your dude down in Miami?
Mostert, or
not Mostert, the other dude,
the young guy, A-Chain.
A-Chain
didn't play all the games. A-Chain didn't play all the games.
But when he did, what happened? Yeah, I know. You want to put those words back in your mouth because it came out kind of
the only guy you needed Boots' help is McCaffrey, but I would contend
the only guy. Come on,
I would contend that he is an every down back. McCaffrey, okay, McCaffrey's better.
Wow, whew. That was so hard to pull out. That's weird.
He's better than Bijan. He's better than Bijan. He's better than most.
All those guys are better that you just.
Kyron Williams came on big time last year. He came on big time last year. This dude, he's neither one of those guys. Nobody you mentioned other than McCaffrey led the league in rushing. My man has done that. 2 of the last. He did that last year.
He didn't lead the league in rushing last year. What are you talking about?
He did that 2 years ago. I take that back. Excuse me. He did that 2 years ago. 3 of his 5 years in the league, he's been over 1,000 yards. He has a career average. He has a career average of 4.2 yards a game.
And what do we say about that 1,000-yard threshold? It don't really mean nothing these days, right?
He had 1,600 yards.
I'll take the chubby guy in Cleveland coming off an ACL tear.
Again, that's not his first injury, Chubbs.
That's not I will still take him over Josh Jacobs.
You just hating on any running back that comes out of Alabama. Yes, he's better than Derrick Henry. Yes, he is better than Derrick.
No, he's not.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is.
Yeah, absolutely is.
So you guys with Bootsilla's help, you guys name one running back better than Josh Jacobs.
One season in the last 6 seasons, he's had more yards than Derrick Henry. One?
No, he has not. You guys, with Bootzilla's help, you name one player that he's better than, and then I'm gonna look
We
this up.
named
Right
like 5. I don't know what it
No,
is with you
no.
and Josh Jacobs. It's a
Josh
weird
Jacobs is the best running back outside of Christian McCaffrey in the
you
NFL.
guys have,
Period.
because he's not even close to what you think he is. It's weird.
Outside of Christian Jackson McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs is the best running back in the league. And you brought up he's had let me 1 year better than Henry. Let me just refute that real quick.
Yeah, refute that.
Because Henry's numbers are coming down.
Does he have multiple years with more yards than Derrick Henry? I don't think so.
Let me refute this real quick. Because obviously Henry has played more years than him.
No, I said last 5 years.
I know.
He has one season with more yards than Derrick Henry. Is what I said.
Let me see if I can get.
And that's not even true.
Let me see if I'm doing a comparison right now. Regular season just was this last year.
Oh boy, yeah, it's not happening, homie.
So I'm getting so last year on a career. So I'm getting career numbers. Well, I'm getting career numbers. So
No. So in 2019, 1,500 for Derrick Henry. In 2020, 2,000 for Derrick Henry. 2021, little fall off, 937. 2022, 1,538. 2023, 1167.
22 is 1538. Henry, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing. What did he do in 21? 935. You said 935 in 21.
I was going to Josh's stats here right quick and just see what you were talking
No,
about.
go back to Henry.
Oh my gosh, your numbers are pathetic, man.
Well, he don't have a 2,000-yard rushing season in there. Granted, yes, and that really kind of
1150 in 2019. It's 1,065 in 2020. It's 872 in 2021, and then the 2022 year, that's a 1653, and then he bounces back last year with 805.
Yeah, last year he was on the holdout.
Gross.
Last year he was on the holdout.
One good year. Best back in football, man. Usually you like to stat me to death, but now you can't even stat me to death. That's terrible.
I can't reckon a running back that has 2 seasons rushing for less than 4.4 yards a carry.
I mean the seasons don't add up at all, Cameron. These should I say it again?
For his career, he's at 4.2.
Okay, that's great. But again, 1150.
That's for his career.
In 1065, and then 872, and then that anomaly in 2022 when he rushed for 1653.
The anomaly. See why is it an anomaly when he actually gets down?
So 2 of these seasons he's rushed for less than 875 yards.
Yeah. All of a sudden now you want to go to pro football reference, Cleveland. All of a sudden you want to pull up pro football.
I usually don't do that, but then you say things like, Josh Jacobs is the best running back in football. And it's just like it's only
you guys name one player. I'll give you one player.
19th, so there's plenty of time to come to your senses. But yeah,
I'll give you the one player, Christian McCaffrey. I'll give you Christian McCaffrey. That's it.
Right.
That's it. That's all I can do for you.
So
that's all I can do.
So I have to read the Derrick Henry numbers again.
No, Derrick Henry's numbers are outstanding. His numbers are. I'm not refuting his numbers. His numbers are outstanding. Are you taking Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry next season? Derrick Henry's numbers are on the decline.
I am taking
Derrick Henry numbers are on the decline. So
I'm taking Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're gonna be disappointed. That's all. That's all.
Oh, I'm gonna be disappointed. Oh, okay. Because Josh Jacobs is gonna tear it up there in Green Bay.
Okay, just wait and see. just wait and see. That's all I can say.
Warren's gonna have more yards than Josh Jacobs next year.
Oh, shame on you. Shame on you, Jacobs. I'm gonna have to send him the show here and hear how you guys are despairing in the kid's name. And you guys are disparaging his name. Cleveland, let's get on to this week in history, man. This is an eventful week, I should say, in the history of the time, Cleveland. Something we do just again educate the fans on stuff that has happened before us, oftentimes before us, but pay homage to some of those guys and making move way before us. 6/18/1889, African American inventor W.H. Richardson Cleveland received a patent for the baby buggy. Interesting. 6/18/1968, U.S. Supreme Court bans racial discrimination in sale and rental of housing. In 1968, Cleveland, they banned discrimination. 6/21/1964, 3 civil rights workers disappeared and later found murdered near Philadelphia. In 2005, on the same day, former Ku Klux Klan member Edgar Ray Killen, then 80, was found guilty of manslaughter in 2005. 6/18/1999, Bernard Whitfield Robinson became the Navy's first black officer. Robinson was a Howard University medical student. June 19, 1960, Harry Belafonte wins Emmy Award for his special Tonight with Harry Belafonte and became first African American to win an Emmy Award. June 20th, 1967, Muhammad Ali is convicted of violating the Selective Service Act by refusing induction into the armed services on grounds of a religion. He was fined $10,000 and sentenced to 5 years in prison, and his boxing license was taken away, as you guys may remember. 6/19/1986, Cleveland, University of Maryland, basketball star Lynn Bias, second round pick in the NBA draft, suffered a fatal cocaine-induced seizure.
Number 2 pick.
What did I say? I said the second pick.
Said second round.
Oh, my bad. Second pick in the NBA draft. Ooh, what those Celtics would have been.
Ooh.
What those Celtics would have been.
Still had Bird and Michaela Parrish.
Yes.
And then Katrina Bias. I don't even want
that young guy. And then they lucked up and got Reggie Lewis, who fatal to. I mean, if he stayed healthy, oh my goodness! Like they still. I mean, Reggie Lewis was nice. Reggie Lewis, right? It was Reggie. He was nice. 6/19/1990, New York Mets catcher Gary Carter catches his 1,867 game and breaks Al Lopez's National League mark. 6/19/1992, Evander Holyfield beats Larry Holmes in a 12-round heavyweight boxing title. Cleveland, you probably missed that one too, right?
Larry Holmes.
You didn't see that one. You didn't see that.
I didn't see that one. I know
you're not a boxing fan. I get it.
No, I saw the Foreman one. I don't remember the Holmes one though.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Sounds weird.
June 17, 1994. The OJ chase happened that day. Game 4 of the NBA Finals with the Rockets and the Knicks happened that day. Arnold Palmer's final U.S. Open happened that day. The New York, the Rangers had their parade for winning the NHL championship. The World Cup opening in Chicago happened that day. On this day, Ken Griffey Jr. hit his 30th home run of the season, Cleveland.
Wow.
We're not even halfway.
Is that early?
Yeah, we're not even halfway through the season, 1994.
Wow.
30th home run of the season, dog. The dude covering he did this against the Kansas City Royals, and this is the joke that he said. Did you hear OJ score at the U.S. Open? He has 2 under. This was on the day, bro. Dude, he would have been fired today. I tried to find out and research who that was, but a few of those their announcers are have already passed. He would have been fired today if he said that.
Yeah, you can't.
You call 1-900 ESPN.
Oh,
I wasn't hip. I wasn't hip to that. 1-900 ESPN. I didn't know they had a 900 number.
that's hella cool.
I wasn't familiar with that one. Yeah, that was a wild day. That was a wild day. But yeah, that joke was way out of bounds, man. Way out of bounds.
And Boots, that 94, if you recall, did not have a World Series. So it was all that stuff going on. And then Toronto had won back-to-back World Series titles and didn't get a chance to defend.
Because of the strike.
Yeah, no World Series.
So Cleveland, as I mentioned earlier in the show, man, we had Bill Walton and Jerry West, and now today or yesterday, Willie Mays passed. No familiarity with Willie Mays other than the catch, and I watched this special. I didn't know Willie Mays was from right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Apparently, there was a lot of talent that came out of here. I watched a special a few months ago on Willie Mays where he said that basket catch that everybody's memorable moment of him was like that wasn't even in his top 10 catches, which I've already seen some catches that were like more athletic and crazier than that basket catch. Not a 1951 Rookie of the Year, 24-time All-Star, 24-time Cleveland. He was an All-Star, 10 Golden Gloves, 12-time Gold Glove winner, tied for the most by outfielder, 660 home runs, second to reach 600 home runs. Now baseball does this new thing. And how recent is this win against replacement? The WAR numbers, Cleveland. How recent is that? He's number 5 in wins against replacement, behind Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson, Cy Young, and your guy Barry Bonds. Was he the most complete baseball player to ever live?
No, but a phenomenal baseball player nonetheless, a cultural icon. I mean, obviously neither one of us has, memories of, Willie Mays other than kind of what we hear from, our predecessors, occasionally I think, back in the day, I may have seen some of those old, I guess I have seen some of those old home run derbies that they used to show on ESPN, like, and so that was kind of cool. But, I heard that, the legends, he played, stick ball out in the street with the kids when the New York, when the Giants were still in New York before they moved to San Francisco. And, it's Barry Bonds' godfather, the 660s, for the longest time it'd been like the third most home runs behind, Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth. So, those are the kind of things that you remember about him. A lot of people were 24, in kind of tribute to him. And so, those are the kind of things that you remember from a historical perspective. I mean, is he, I'm sure on anybody's list, you have to stop before you get to, 11 or 12, right? I mean, I think it's, somewhere in that range for sure.
Man, wow. I was surprised to hear. Who do you have as the most complete baseball player ever to live? Is it Barry Bonds?
I'm a Barry guy. I mean, like, what else?
Yeah, is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Did Barry have 24 All-Star appearances?
Oh, it costs money.
Huh? Yeah, 900 number. Yeah.
Okay.
900 number.
No,
yeah.
he doesn't have 24 All-Star appearances, but he also has 762 home runs. He also has 500 stolen bases. He also has 10 Golden Gloves and 7-time, MVP of the league.
You saw when I saw Barry Bonds at the Warriors game. Barry Bonds is a little dude. Barry Bonds is not a big dude. Little dude would be a stretch.
Not
he
now.
is a little dude.
He's leaned down since his playing days.
Oh, lean is not the word for it. lean. Lean is not the word for it. I was amazed. Like I couldn't believe it was him. He had lean is not the word for it. Are you watching any Stanley Cup finals?
Man, kind of, sort of. I mean, I had kind of like,
I thought Miami was going to win it. I thought Miami was going to win it, or the Florida was going to win it because they were up 3-0. I ain't paid no attention to it.
Quick segue.
Watch it tomorrow night.
Quick segue. The thing that kind of got me getting back to the Stanley Cup is that did I mention this already on the show?
You went to see Colin McDavid?
No. I was watching the 30 for 30 on I'm Just Here for the Riot. And
you talked about the riot.
Yeah. So I was watching that again and kind of got me like, well, let me just see what's up with the hockey. But when they went down 0-3, I'm like, well, there's not really much reason to watch that. But then, they got the one, and then it's like, okay, well, let's see if they can get the second one. And then, Connor kind of stepped up and, did his thing. So now it's like, okay, well,
I might have to tune in to see what they do. If they can pull out again and go to Game 7.
Game 7 in hockey is way different than like hoop or it's way different.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tune in to see if Miami or Florida can hold on.
And plus, Edmonton has the best player in the league, right? So I mean, they have Connor. So
what's that?
I said, and plus Edmonton has the best player in the league. They have Connor, so it's like it's not like
right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tune in to see
possibility that he doesn't just go batshit crazy and score a bunch of goals. So.
Well, I'm gonna try to tune in to see. I'm gonna have to tune in to see. But just to see what's happening. They lost respect for him. I mean, I don't know. Lost respect. Well, they fell asleep. Let's say that. More so than they lost respect for him. But yeah, I thought it was over when they went up 3-0. I didn't pay no attention to it after that. But I'm gonna tune in to see Game 6 if they can push it to Game 7. Appreciate you for chiming in. It's gonna. I'm interested to see it. Cleveland, Gervonta Davis, KO's Frank Martin in the 8th round. We talked about you missed that one. Did you see? Now I sent you the sparring session with him and Devin Haney. Did you see the sparring session? Did you watch any of that?
I'm not watching the sparring session, and I didn't get a chance to see that. Sorry. Was it like compelling sparring?
You gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch the sparring. I the only thing I could have did was press play for you. Came over and press play and set it on your mantle. That's the only thing I could have done for you. The only thing else I could have done for you. It was not no. So let me tell you about it.
Perhaps you said this is not your ordinary sparring session.
I mean, okay. I guess I could have framed it a little bit better for you. Or the best team in the NFL or NHL.
Yeah.
Okay. They never win anything easy. Okay, that's fair. That's fair, but they looked on so much of a roll that it was. I mean, they've been rolling through the playoffs, right? I mean, I do know that much.
Past the Rangers, and then this was their thing, and then 3-0, like with anything,
So for you boxing fans out there, there's a clip of, and I want to ask you, Cleveland, why Floyd. I was hoping that you watched it because, this has been. A lot has been said about this sparring match. Usually, cats don't talk about sparring. It's kind of what happens in what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room, right? You don't talk about what happens in practice, and so a lot's been said about the sparring match between Devin Haney and Tank Davis when they were at the same weight. Devin Haney now fights at 140. Tank has fought at 130, 135. So they're not actually in the same weight class. I doubt they'll be fighting because I don't think Devin Haney can. He talked about going to 147 after he lost to Ryan Garcia. So for him to cut that weight and get down to 135, I think 140 would be a strain. Him to get down to 135 is kind of dangerous, and that puts him right in Tank's wheelhouse. I don't think that we'll see him fighting. So this was a few years ago that they fought. But Devin Haney was giving Tank that work, and Tank tried to quit a few times, but it went on for 19 minutes. It was a sparring session that went on for 19 minutes. You got to check it out. I mean, Tank, you saw Tank is Tank, and he's solid, but Haney was putting in the 1-2, the body shots. He was putting in that work. And again, Tank literally tried to go talk to somebody in the corner and cause a diversion, turn his back on and Devin Haney, literally trying to quit a few different times in the 19-minute session, and Floyd wouldn't let him quit. Now, obviously, Floyd and Tank has some kind of beef going on right now. Gervonta created his own promotional entity.
Oh,
Floyd
really?
is like that. So
Well, good for Tank.
Yeah, 100%.
Good for Tank. He's bound for the next 47 years, so he can't get out. But that's cool.
Who's that? What do you mean? No, he's not.
Oh no! I mean, come on, man. I mean, you can't leave the promoter once you like lock in like that, you know.
But he had his contract was over. His contract with PBC, like PBC had to restart. Like they essentially had to restart. Like they had people that they work with, but they really had to restart once Showtime lost a deal. So he had served his like 6-fight deal, and he signed a new one. But he signed a new one under his promotional company, not Floyd Mayweather promotional company. So Floyd Mayweather is, obviously he wasn't happy with that.
Well, we won't let him fight in this town.
Again, Cleveland, what did I just say? With Showtime, they had a reboot. When Showtime left PBC, they had a reboot. So they're not under Showtime is not in boxing anymore. They signed with Amazon Prime. So that's the deal that he signed. And apparently Floyd didn't take that so well. So they've been kind of beefing over at the beginning of the year. And he started his own promotional company. And so out of the blue is this sparring match that happened in Floyd Mayweather's gym.
Tapes get leaked.
Leaked out. And so here's what your champion really does. And then Floyd went through his last Thursday, I think he tweeted that the fight with him and Frank Martin is off. They're not fighting, so don't go to Vegas. Trying to kind of ruin the fight if you could, but that was too late. That was already done. Like that fight was.
Well, I mean, maybe he wants to get down and get in the ring with Floyd then.
Look, you sound like Cameron and Mace. That's exactly what Mace said. Like Floyd is 50. No, he's not 50. What is Floyd? 48? 48? He's gonna try to fight Gervonta Davis, who's 28? That ain't happening. Come on. Cleveland, come on now. Floyd wants to pride himself as the best defender, defensive fighter ever. I mean, there's an age difference.
I think Floyd can get Tank Davis.
Oh, stop it. All right, we're gonna continue this conversation. Come on, David Benavidez. You don't even watch Tank Davis, Cleveland. So cut it.
I didn't watch Tank Davis. I would watch Tank Davis fight live. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. Well, I took you to the fight. Then you went. That's the only reason. Kicking and screaming. You went to the fight to watch Tank Davis kicking and screaming. And laid out. I mean, I don't even know who the dude he laid out and left in the ring for 5 minutes. That was that fight, right? When the dude he knocked him out, and dude was in the ring for 5 minutes afterwards. Like we had to question the dude's health if the the paramedics had to come get him. I don't even remember who dude was. But come on, all right, come on, Floyd.
Get in shape. You know, he's 50-0. He never been defeated.
I doubt that would be the exhibition. Like he's going to Japan and fighting some dude for an exhibition, and he's going to try to control it with the 16-ounce gloves, and the 2.5 minute rounds, and
he knocked him out cold. He was supposed to be the next big thing. He knocked him out cold.
David Benavidez beats Alexander Gobstock. Now, David moved up 2 weight classes. He beat him by undefeated unanimous decision. He had to go up 2 weight classes to get it done. Didn't look like the fierce monster that we've come to know him to be, but that's because he moved up weight classes. Now I think that he has the sense of what that weight classes be like, he can get in better shape. And he'll have an understanding of kind of what that weight is when he goes to fight his next fight at that weight division. Shakur Stevenson, that's a fight I want to see. A lot of people are screaming for Tank and Teofimo.
Mm-hmm. And rightfully so.
I'll be rooting. I mean, I might go to that one. I might go to see Tank and Teofimo. And I'm gonna be in Tank's corner. I might hold Tank's bucket that fight. Because
anything to see somebody be female, huh?
Somebody to see
somebody be female.
Yeah, I might hold his water bottle that fight. Because go let's
against female. All he does is win. You know,
except when there's expectations. Teofimo's kind of like the Boston Celtics. When you expect him to win and you count on him to win, he doesn't win.
That one time, he's lost one fight.
Again, when I expected him to win, and I put something down on him to win,
beat Lomachenko,
huh?
Beat Lomachenko, right? The unbeatable.
And Tank, Lomachenko and Tank. That's another fight that's out there. Again, Tank 28, Lomachenko is going to be 36. By the time we actually see the fight, he might be 38. Come on, I mean, unless it happens this year, that's the only chance that Lomo has. If it happens November, December, if he goes into next year, Lomachenko don't have a chance. So cut it out. Cut it out.
And wait, where are they? Where are the Charlo brothers these days?
Oh. Again,
are they just in retirement, or
who you want to see them fight? Each other?
Yeah,
they're not a draw. They're not a draw. They were the champions. They both lost. They both lost to Canelo, didn't they? They're not a draw.
No, one of them was supposed to fight Canelo, and then he got hurt, so they just said, okay, well, just somebody
stuck the other one in. Yeah, stuck the older one in, and the younger one has mental problems. Man, they haven't been a draw. I mean, that's what he had, mental problem, bro. I mean, that's what it.
All boxers have mental problems. I mean, that's kind of part of being a boxer, right?
Well,
is this extreme, like beyond that? Okay. So no more Charlo brothers. That's cool. So moving right along. So Benavidez against Canelo. Are we going to see that in September, or
Canelo don't want to fight Benavidez?
So he's still ducking because he said he wasn't ducking.
So
after his last fight over Corey Jenkins, was it? Who did he do his last fight?
Munguia. Corey Jenkins.
Sure.
Munguia. So Canelo's at the point of his career where he can pick and choose his who he wants to fight.
And
similar to where Floyd was at the end of his career, where he's just going to pick and choose the people he want to fight, and that's where Canelo is. So will he pick a hard fight? He says he wants to rematch Bivol. I don't believe he's going to do that. I don't believe that's going to happen. But fighting David Benavidez, fighting Alexander Gobstock, who was a former champion, they fought for the opportunity to fight Arturo Beterbiev or Dimitri Bivol. That's going to be the next fight. That was their next fight in paper on pencil for the winner of that Benavidez fight. So now that Benavidez won,
so next Canelo's going to fight Patrick Stevens, and
it may be. It may be he might fight rematch with Corey Jenkins. Who knows? But he doesn't want any of Dimitri Bivol, and I think that's why we haven't seen that happen. That was 3 years ago that they fought. He don't want none of that. And I don't know, say it's going to be insane, but he'll show a lot of huevos if he decides to get in the ring with Dimitri Bivol again. They show a lot of cojones if he does that. And he's not doing that, and he's not going to get in the ring with David Benavidez either, unfortunately. Shakur Stevenson is out there. That's a potential fight for Tank Davis. There's mixed.
You keep saying that, but then you keep saying that there's too much politics involved, so it's not really going to happen. It's not really real.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics involved, but if our guy, His Excellency from Saudi, puts enough money on the table, maybe that can massage some feelings and get these two guys in the ring, because that's a Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. I mean, that's a prize fight. But Shakur got to get over Armenian Artem Harutyunian. Harutyunian.
Okay, yeah. It's that fight. Yeah.
I mean, hey, Armenia.
Talk about September, October, because he's winning that fight.
He's probably gonna win the fight. Shakur is one of the best in the game, but you can't overlook no Armenians, bro. You can't look over any Armenians. But they fight July 6th in Newark, so that's gonna be a big fight for Shakur anyway. That we can see that could potentially set up.
Okay, November. So we're looking at November.
I mean, him and Shakur and Teofimo. I mean, that's Teofimo just don't want none. But they don't want none of
female, Cam. They don't want none of female.
No,
it's the other way around.
No.
Female ain't afraid of nobody.
They're under the same umbrella. They're both type rank. In fact, I think Teofimo's a free agent, but he can fight with any promoter. But they're both top rank, and Teofimo he's not getting in the ring with Shakur. He know better. Then we still got Jerome Bucinis still fighting for the IF welterweight championship on July 13th. So that's still something that can happen. Errol Spence talking about he's fighting in October, November, yet to be determined. But that's somebody.
That name's lost a little bit of luster, and it's been a little while since that beat down. So
he needed some time away. He needed some time to rest up. So maybe this is a good time.
Errol's not really moving the crowd. He's not really like a draw like that. Maybe in the Fort Worth area.
Are you Tiger Woods? The PGA Tour is making a special exemption for Tiger Woods to play in their majors. Are you interested in seeing Tiger Woods play in the majors?
Absolutely. Okay. He's doing his Arnold Palmer thing. I would much rather him just jump on the senior tour and just knock those out.
What age you got to be for the senior tour?
50.
Oh well, he's right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty close. Like the next couple of years, if not now. So,
are you going to watch the game at Rickwood Field? Like today's Wednesday. I think they had a minor league game there yesterday. I think they had some game there today. Tomorrow, the Cardinals and the Giants play. Interested in watching that?
Not just really. I mean, I may turn through what? How should I say this? I probably will, because we are in the the dead zone of sports right now. So yeah.
Are you okay with Ronel Blanco, the Astros pitcher, getting pulled while pitching a no hitter?
No, I'm not. But I mean, I understand how baseball works nowadays. I mean, I'm not really sure how anyone will ever throw a no hitter again. It takes 9 innings to do that.
I mean, why are they doing that? Like, dude has a chance
They're
to
trying
go.
to save people's arms, and people. I mean, it is proven that pitchers are blowing their arms out nowadays, trying to throw the ball way, way too hard. So, I mean, once they get to, 100 is kind of like way deep into the game. To be perfectly honest with you, they usually are pulling cats about somewhere between 80 and 90 pitches. So.
Mookie Betts out 6 weeks with a broken hand. Yamamoto out with the strained rotator cuff. The Dodgers just say out for some time. Which injury is more more impactful?
Mookie Betts.
Yankees Anthony Rizzo out 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured arm. Judge gets hits on the wrist, but that's not gonna have him out for many more times. Why are we seeing so many more injuries in baseball? Or is it just more publicity?
More publicity. I mean, we're getting to that, kind of time in the year where these kind of things happen. Getting hit, on the wrist or the hand is just kind of one of those things. You're either crying the plate or the ball gets a little bit away from the pitcher. And, if you're throwing 95 miles an hour, it's not enough time to really react and move out of the way necessarily, so to speak. And even if you do, you still might get, grazed by 95-mile-an-hour pitch. So I don't think it's something that we can kind of look and say, like, there's like a particular reason these things are happening. I think it's just one of those things that kind of, piles up around this time of the year.
Fans, this has been, I think, 7 or 8 weeks in a row that we've been having this Mariners Minute. The Seattle Mariners right now are 44-31, 58% winning percentage, 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're among one of the hottest teams in baseball. I'm kind of speechless. Cleveland, why don't you talk about the Mariners and what's gotten this? What's going on with these guys? I signed a petition. The petition went around the city for the Metro League teams to be playing at the T-Mobile Stadium, and since I got all the signatures I needed, the Mariners have been on a win streak. What's going on?
Well, thanks, Cam, for the minute. Going into today, the Mariners were the only team in baseball to have a double-digit lead in their division. Unfortunately, they weren't able to pull off the victory tonight in Cleveland, but they are still 9 games ahead of the defending World Series champions, the Texas Rangers, and they still do have the largest lead of any of the division leaders in baseball, all due to their pitching. Their pitching is extraordinary. It's historically good. They are a phenomenal 39-10 when they score 3 or more runs. That's unheard of. You only have to score more than 3 runs or more. They win 80% of their games. So that just goes to show you how good their pitching is. The most quality starts in baseball. I don't know how long that can last. Either A, injuries are bound to happen, or B, those guys will get tired, which is why I have kind of thought that they should be considering a 6-man rotation, because one of their better pitchers in AAA has quite a few wins up here in the in the bigs the last couple of months, Emerson Hancock. So they've been getting more timely hits than they typically have previous to that, but I still want them to go out and get a big bat. And if they don't, they're just relying on just, overuse of those arms. And I think those arms deserve better. I don't think that they deserve to have to hold everyone to 2 runs or less every outing. It would be nice to have a little bit of cushion, but again, they have been getting a little bit better with regards to that. Julio is starting to get a little bit hotter. Some of those other players are kind of getting a little bit closer to at least being average. So not sure if that's sustainable. Again, I am a proponent for going out and getting a big bat at the trade deadline, but we'll see how things go.
Who would you get? What bat would you go get if you had your options? If they can't, the front office called you and said, Cleveland, what do you want to do? Who are you targeting?
I'm okay for renting Pete Alonso for 3 months.
Isn't he kind of long on the tooth?
No. And he's left-handed. So, I mean, short porch in right field. So, yeah.
So the Mariners, man, they're holding off the Metro League. The Metro Leagues take over the state, and they're holding off. I don't know how much longer this can go on, Cleveland. They're, as you mentioned, they're 9 games above their AL West conference team. Was it the Rangers or Houston?
Rangers and the Astros are both in second place, and that is the World Series champion from last year and the World Series champ from the year before that. So.
I mean, so don't you putting a lot of pressure on the Mariners comparing them to World Series former World Series champions?
I am not. I am saying that is how good that their pitching is, and which is why I want them to go get some more hitting.
Let's see if they can go get that down. This is what you've been saying this from day one, though. Coming into the season, you mentioned that they needed some hitting and was hoping that the pitching can pull it through, and so far, we're nearing the halfway mark of the season, and that's what they've been doing. So, a good call by you, Cleveland. Fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Give yourselves a round of applause. Shout out to Boots, Brandon, Ninja, all you guys who tuned in and chimed in. Barry, thank you for chiming in as well. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give Cleveland a round of applause for his Mariners prediction. And you guys see him rocking the Mariners, the M's hat with the black bill.
Well, I mean, double-digit league, Cam, you got to break it out, right? You got to bring out the trident.
Yeah. Okay. Again, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. We appreciate you guys, and yeah, thank you too, Boots. Boots, we gonna be all right, man. As long as you stick with us, we gonna be all right, Boots. It's all good. Fans, like we do, man, we give you the numbers game at the beginning of the show, kind of give you the history lesson. Midway through the show, talk about what's happened in the years past. And then we end the show with the kind of motivational quote, like to motivate you guys and help carry you guys through the rest of the week. Here's a quote from the late great Willie Mays. In order to excel, you must completely dedicate yourself to a chosen sport. You must also be prepared to work hard and be willing to accept constructive criticism. Without 100% dedication, you won't be able to do this. That's Willie Mays. And this can apply to most anything, guys, in life, obviously. But in order to excel, you must completely dedicate yourself to your chosen sport. You must be prepared to work hard and willing to accept constructive criticism. Without 100% dedication, you won't be able to do this. Again, the late great Willie Mays. Thanks again, fans, for chiming in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Thank you guys for being part of the show. I will ask that you guys tell a friend to tell a friend. We do this not asking for no monetary compensation. I'm asking you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm asking you guys to leave a comment. Let us know where you watching the show, how you're absorbing the show, whether it's during your workout, whether it's during your morning walk or afternoon walk, whether it's on your commute to work. However you're watching the show, let us know how you're watching the show just by hitting the like button, hit that share button, and then leave a comment on the show. Your time is very much appreciated, Cleveland, as well as the fans. Thank you, guys. And then, as always, I want to thank you for making our voice your choice.